Welcome, one and all, to SimSpeed TV, 4th of November 2018. We're coming to you live from Myrtle Beach Speedway in South Carolina. This is the final round of the International Division of the Majors Series for 2018. This is the Myrtle Beach 400. Late models, short track racing around a fantastic short track oval. I'm really looking forward to it. My name is Reese Gardner. Joining me in the commentary box, Cameron Dance and Jay Kennedy. Cam, it's time to go racing for the final time this year in the majors. We already have the championship totally wrapped up, but there's still some few things up for grabs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a very long season for a lot of these guys, and it's all come down to pretty much the final race for the sportsman division anyway. But regardless, it's been a very long season, and I cannot wait to get this meeting.
Yes, indeed. Jay, it's the final majors broadcast of the season. It's been a long year for you as well in the director's chair, and it all comes to a head here.
Yeah, it has been a long season, but it doesn't mean it hasn't been absolutely enjoyable. We've seen all different sorts of racing that we don't normally see in broadcast, and racing that doesn't get a lot of love on this side of the globe that's now found a new bit of resurgence, like the Lotus 79, Silver Crown. We had some awesome racing in those cars, and knowing the schedule already for next year, I've seen it a few days ago. It looks very, very exciting, and the majors are going to be bigger, better, stronger, and even more exciting next year.
Yes, indeed. It's certainly going to be a fantastic one. We're looking forward to it. We hope that you are too. Before we go into tonight's racing, the format is a bit of an interesting one. We got 6 minutes or so left in the practice session before we have a heat race of 25 laps to decide the grid from third back. But before we do that, guys, I think it'd be opportune to take a look at the various championships. Let's have a look at the Pro one first, just to keep everybody updated on what's been going on there. Josh Nowak sealed the title last round at Bathurst. John King is currently in second, but Dwayne Burns and Jake Fox, it seems, along with Dean Moll and the like, they're pretty close there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really been an interesting season watching how everybody's gone, and obviously some have succeeded, some have obviously not had the best seasons, but as you said, Nowak's pretty much sealed the championship at this point, but the minor placings are definitely still and well and truly up.
Yeah, they certainly are. And taking a look at the Sportsman Championship, Robert Northway with a 50-point lead on Daniel Stevens, but it's still up for grabs. If Stevens wins this weekend, he can catch Northway if Northway finishes 15th or worse. Shane Bowen is also in contention, but he needs to have Northway finish 19th or worse while winning to take the title there in the Sportsman division. But at the moment, Jay, it seems like Robert Northway has that championship sealed.
At the moment it does, but you can never discount anyone in this series. We've seen all sorts of weird things happen, from bizarre incidents at Indianapolis to surprise winners in the Daytona 500 to really, really bizarre results the whole way throughout the season. And you can never discount anything in this series. It's going to be really, really tight. It is going to come down to the wire, and we do have all three of our contenders for the Sportsman's Championship out on track tonight. So that's the way it should be as well. It's going to be sealed out on track tonight, just how we like it.
Yes, indeed. That's fantastic to see. So we do have something to race for, as John King has actually walked away with the Legends Championship for drivers over 50 years of age. Of course, he's been one of the most consistent competitors in this series this year, and even winning a race earlier on in the season. So he's definitely done a lot to seal that particular one. But other than that, it seems to me like we're about to get things going. Christopher Norton currently first in the practice session, with Robert Northway in second. Aldous Pateklis, Jake Fox, and Daryl Hockey completing the top 5. We got a small field here today, Cam, but it's a short track, so I think the race is going to be anything but sleepy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how we go in this race. Really interesting circuit, actually. It's similar to Daytona in some sort of ways in the shape that it is. It's more of a D oval rather than your standard short track oval of pretty much a straight corner. So it really is quite challenging, and it's actually not as easy as you think, especially because it's so bumpy and old. It really does make it challenging to get this car to actually handle the way you want it to around the corner. I know I've seen a number of people, and done it myself actually during practice, come into turn one pretty much aiming to obviously hit the apex, but you just end up losing the rear end from it stepping out over the bumps and everything. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see who actually comes out on top tonight, and I think we'll actually see some really good racing as well.
Yes, indeed. And looking at the drivers going through turn one at the moment, they've got those bumps on the inside, demarcating the pit exit from the racing surface. So that's another thing that the drivers are going to have to be careful of. Don't turn in too aggressively in turn one, because you may damage your floor over those little anti-cutting devices. But Jay, it's a track that I've never seen racing at. It's a track that I've never even driven on before. What about you?
No, I'm in the same boat. I've never watched a race here, never done any laps. I know Cam's done some laps in practice this week, but one thing I have noticed and also was told about is the pit entry is going to be really tough. A really long pit lane, so green flag pit stops are going to want to be avoided if possible when we get into the main event. Another thing too, very, very easy to speed because you're at full momentum coming down the back straight, and the pit entry and the speed limit line is before the entry to turn 3, so you've got a big hard braking zone while you're accelerating through the straight. So it's going to be really tough for some drivers to actually pull it up on the marks. Very, very slow pit entry, only 35 miles an hour as well, so 60 Ks. It's going to be tough for some drivers. We could see that mix up the field as well with some potential speeding in pit lane penalties later on in the race.
Indeed we could. So as the session is about to enter its final couple of minutes, you can definitely see from drivers going around the track just how abrupt that pit entry is. And Cam, as you said, the track very bumpy, so it'll probably be a bit difficult to do some consistent side-by-side running here, just because, you know, people like to criticize oval racing for every turn being left, etc., etc. But I think this track, Cam, among all others, really disproves the notion that every oval is the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really, really interesting because the exits of the corners actually tighten up as well. So there's that other thing of, if there is actually a car on the outside, you've actually got to remember that he's there and that you can't go right up to the wall and squeeze him there, because he's actually going to end up in the wall before you even think about it. So it's going to be one of those things that drivers are going to have to keep an eye on and be aware of, the spatial awareness and all that. So, but I think the side-by-side thing and being able to race with each other is actually not going to be too bad. I know the bottom seems to be the quicker way around this track, but from what I can tell, it's actually not too hard to use that middle lane, for example.
Well, we'll see what happens coming into this 25-lap heat race. We are racing in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS, the older late model on the iRacing service. So we come into the race session. The grid is as follows: Dwayne Burns in pole position with Josh Nowak in second, John King in third, Christopher Norton lining up in fourth place with Jake Fox in fifth, Aldis Pateklis, Shane Bowen, Trevor Mack, Daryl Hockey, and Daniel Stevens rounding out the top 10, and the field completed by Phil Otto, Robert Northway, our Sportsman Championship leader, Danny Vassell, Craig Hopkins, and Brad Fenley. So we move here into the race session, and the drivers will be lining up behind the safety car. We're going to have 2 formation laps here as it's a short track, Cam.
Yeah, that tends to be what you see at these short tracks here on iRacing. It just does also get everybody a little bit of time to get all prepared and settled in and ready to go racing pretty much. And this is actually going to be a rather quick race as well, being 25 laps, because your lap times are around 19 to just over 19 seconds. So it's going to be really, really quick blowing by, and even the feature's going to go by quick with it being 250 laps. So yeah, really looking forward to it and seeing how this goes.
Yes, indeed. So Dwayne Burns lining up there behind the safety car. It's going to be double file here. Only 15 cars for this heat, so not as big as the fields that we've seen in this series in the past, but this track is only 870 meters long, so there's not much space anyway. That's the first formation lap complete, and now the drivers will be gearing up just to see how they can take this start. Of course, once the safety car pulls in after turn 2, Dwayne Burns is going to be the one controlling the field. When he goes, the rest of the field goes as well. So the drivers alongside him will be just slightly behind, making sure that they are able to keep themselves consistent. Burns is away very early, just before the apex of turn 3, and the green flag flies. Have a look at the gap he's got already.
Yeah, really, really good jump there from Burns there on the start. Actually went a lot earlier than I thought he would, but he's managed to get that gap out to Noak quite well, and Noak's actually going to remember that north behind him, so good little battle going on, and then multiple cars further back as well that's all scrapping for position.
Yes, indeed. Currently focused on Daryl Hockey right now. A little bit of contact between himself and the 42. Oh, and that is a big slide. The yellow flag is out. Goodness me, that was not good at all.
Not a good sign for what's potentially to come later on in the night. It's a little bit of contact between Hockey and Vassal there, I think, started that. Vassal just became a passenger with those guys going 3 wide ahead. I think he was trying to check up and get out of it, and then all of a sudden it was all over in front of him. But I think a few drivers might be caught out a little bit. Of course, qualifying all throughout the week has been in the night session, so really cool track temps. Now in late afternoon for this heat race, some of these drivers may not have driven a single lap in these conditions all week, may not have even realised that they were going to have to do a heat race in late afternoon conditions.
Yeah, definitely. It really makes a big difference, the track conditions at an oval circuit, especially because you got the forces on the car being so consistent over a long period of time. So car's obviously very sensitive to condition changes. I do want to apologize. I misread the car number. There is no 42 in this field. I was actually looking at the 12, which is Phil Otto. So my apologies for that. But now we've got a couple of laps under caution, guys. A little bit of recalibration.
Yeah, we want to give a shout out to Dean Mull, who unfortunately can't make it tonight. He tried, he's on vacation at the moment, tried to pack his steering wheel and pedals to do the race with his laptop, but couldn't quite get it all working in time. But how's that for commitment? Couldn't race while he's on holidays. Pack your wheel, pack your laptop, try and get out there on track. But it'd be great to see him out on track again next season. He's been one of our favourite competitors throughout the year, and disappointing he's not here, but looking forward to seeing him out on track next year. His Majors series will be back next year, and looking forward to it. It's going to be bigger, better, stronger next year as well.
Yes, indeed. I'm kind of disappointed that we're not going to be able to
Crayola
see. Yeah, we're not going to be able to see what his kids were able to come up with for this one.
I think we're going to have to make sure that the kids come up with something even more special for next season.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely. Instead of Crayola, get some watercolor pencils or something like that. Good old smudgy livery. That'd be interesting.
That'd be a bit different.
Yeah,
maybe we should ask for one round if we can have someone out in our social media community paint something up with some crayons, or with, you know, some sort of bizarre paint program for something a little bit different. Maybe we should ask it, but we're about to go green again anyway.
We certainly are. So Dwayne Burns leading the field away here, and we'll see when he goes. That's a very late run there from Dwayne Burns, as Daniel Stevens is looking a little bit crossed up back there in the field. Currently focused on Trevor Mack in car 57. He is getting pressured majorly by Robert Northway, but outside, see the 08, Jake Fox.
Oh, contact
just
between
at the wall.
Pateklis and Mack too there.
A little bit of rear-end barging, but that's... Oh, goodness me, that's not short track racing. That's what you were talking about before, Cam. You've got to really be careful on the exits of those corners.
Yeah, absolutely, but it's good old-fashioned stock car racing, just giving the guy a little bit of a bump on the outside, so good little bit of racing going on here for the minor positions inside the top 5, actually. So, yeah, really good race. Oh, and that was more contact for Protect.
Yeah, certainly was. That's definitely not good. We're currently on board. We were on board, sorry, with Robert Northway looking back in that Cheetos livery. So he's really gaining here on Trevor Mack at the moment. Mack just running that slightly higher line. It seems like Northway's making the bottom work for him really, really well right now.
Oh, big wreck in front.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Norton's around from second position. He and Josh Nowak were going at it, and one of the two had a tech issue, and then all of a sudden we see the 22 in the wall.
Yeah, well, that's weird. Replay on at the moment, so we're going to see what happened to Christopher Norton. There's Josh Nowak behind him. Dwayne Burns up in front. Nowak getting a really good exit out of that turn. It just looks to me like he went for that move, but oh, looks like Nowak might have been right in the middle of a technical issue there.
That was actually really weird to see, because you would have presumed that Nowak would have actually just gone straight through, but there was actual contact, even though he actually wasn't.
Yeah, it was a strange one for sure, but definitely no malice would have been involved in that one, and we've been talking to Josh quite a lot over the last few weeks, and he's a very, very clean but hard racer, so he'll be probably feeling pretty bad about that one, but yeah, still having a couple of tech issues which he won't be happy with at the moment. But Burns still leads, and Norton's dropped all the way from second. He's now last.
Yes, indeed. So that's no good for Christopher Norton at all. He's got quite a bit of damage on the front of that car as well, so fair chance that he might end up starting from the back for our 400-mile feature race.
Norton's into the pits as well to potentially get a spare car. I'm not sure if they've got a spare car in this race, so we'll have one spare car in the main event coming up straight after this race completes, or concludes, I should say.
Indeed, they will.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do have a spare car from memory, but I wouldn't hold me to that.
Well, we'll wait and see once Christopher Norton comes out of the pits.
Just actually receiving a message from Josh Nowak now saying that he's not too happy with himself for that incident there. He's not overly enjoyed with how that one played out, and no surprise that he's feeling a bit guilty about it, but they'll still press on. Because this will set the grid for the main race. The front two guys are already settled on the front row, but everyone else will sort into grid positions according to where they finish here. So those guys that are a little bit better racers than they are qualifiers have a real chance. The likes of Cam tomorrow in the in the Pacific split, he might actually have a chance of doing all right. How's the bus on top of you there, Cam? Is it all right?
Yeah, it's pretty heavy, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes, starting a little bit further back, but hopefully it goes all well, as we're about to go green again, and Burns eats fit.
Yes, indeed. Burns once again getting that very good start, as they're really jostling for position behind him.
Trevor Mack straight around the outside. He's just gone past Northway and about to get King from 5th to 3rd in the space of a corner as they check up behind King. Northway and Otto both into the rear. Pateklis is going to get some spots here.
Yeah, he certainly is, really profiting from all of that jostling back in the pack. Pateklis now on the outside of John King through 1 and 2. King gets a slightly better exit though. This is the kind of short track racing we really love to see here at SimSpeed. This is fantastic to watch right now, but how about Trevor Mack? Seems like the track's really come to him in these conditions once cars have run on it for a bit.
Yeah, it's that alternative line just working that we've seen in oval racing and the peak sort of series and that sort of stuff, where guys will start to move up the racetrack just because it's slightly cooler, less rubber and that sort of stuff, and it seems to be working really well for Pateklis, but Northway's looking to try and get a move up the inside of him here.
Oh, Pateklis very wide there. I don't know if he'll be able to make that one work. Went a bit too deep, and that's just let Northway go. So now Pateklis really facing pressure from Phil Otto. Got to be careful through those turns. It's so weird how inconsistent the radius of the corner is down low. Oh, there we go. That's what you were talking about in the warm-up, Cam. Those bumps in turn 1 really catching out Phil Otto, and quite a few others too.
Yeah, a couple of others involved, which is really unfortunate because they didn't really have anywhere to go, so really unfortunate. But yeah, like you said, it's all about those bumps and just getting caught out by the rear end, stepping out. And the unfortunate part is as well is that because this car's on a slightly older tyre model, once it's gone, you can't really save the car.
Yeah, so many cars involved in that wreck, and it actually ended up taking out 61 of Shane Bowen as well. We're back live, so quite a few drivers, not very happy campers right now.
Good thing is this is sort of like a bit of a warm-up, a practice for these guys. With the smaller field, it means that everyone's going to be in the main event anyway, so all this race is going to do is set the field for a 250-lap race. I don't think where qualifying is, or where you end up qualifying, is really going to matter a great deal. It's more about wreck avoidance and slowly making your way up through the field that's going to matter more than getting involved in an incident and not being able to start at the front of the grid. I actually think that starting in 15th wouldn't be too bad a spot to start.
Nah, certainly not. If you just start in 15th and keep it nice and consistent, avoid those wrecks, then you really stand to profit come the end of the event. It's all about, in these races, looking after your tyres, looking after your fuel load, and just timing your pit stops right to coincide with cautions if there are any.
We're going to have a one-lap dash at the end here. The lights are still on the iRacing, I nearly said roof safety car. It's on the iRacing Mustang.
Oh.
Pace car, we're not used to seeing the Mustang out on track. Well, the oval side of things usually use the Mustang. But lights are going this time, which means we're going to have a one-lap dash. It's going to be on between Northway, King, Mack, Hopkins and Jake Fox. It looks like Norton, Hockey and Vassal all have stayed in the pit, so Phil Otto has come back out, but a long way back right now.
Yeah, certainly is. That's 2 laps down on the leaders currently is Phil Otto.
Still lights on the
yeah.
safety car.
I think we might actually finish on the safety car.
Yeah. It's a disappointing way to end it.
Yeah, certainly. I think that might be an automatic thing. Like if it's X amount of laps from the end, and they just extend the caution to cover the finish as well. So, looks to me like that's going to be your field. So Trevor Mack is going to qualify in 3rd with that fantastic dash in the middle stint of that race. Good job from him. Robert Northway from 12th to 4th as well. Good run.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really good run from actually a few guys as well. So, going to be interesting to see what this main holds ahead of us with 250 laps, 400 miles. So, going to be interesting. And under lights as well. So, that's another factor that a lot of these guys are going to have to take into account with it.
Indeed. This is a bit of a fish out of water situation for a lot of these guys. As you said earlier, Jay, who have been doing these... doing their practice runs at night, being thrown straight into these late afternoon conditions. So we finish under caution. Dwayne Burns picking up the win here. Josh Nowak, Trevor Mack, Robert Northway, and John King are your top 5, and the rest of the field, well, that's where they're going to start. It's now up to people like Aldous Pateklis, like Shane Bowen, like Hockey and Norton as well, to try and make the best of what was a very poor opening race.
There'll be a lot of disappointed guys out on track, but Burns did everything right there. He had the lead, just maintained that position and did a really good job holding on. And Trevor Mack has shown that he can make some overtakes, so it's going to be exciting to see how he goes once we get into that race session in a few minutes' time. It's going to be a really, really awesome race, and very, very different to what we've seen throughout the season. As we have seen throughout the majors, every race is so unique and so different to every other one.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we definitely can't wait for this final race of the season. Crown our sportsman champion, officially crown our other champions as well. We'll be right back here on SimSpeed TV. Don't go away. You're watching the Majors Series International from Myrtle Beach.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing!
Lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit grass side. What a save!
Look
chair of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMary at the line. chair of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMary at the line.
Welcome back, everybody. This is on SimSpeed TV, the final round of the Majors Series International Division for 2018, the Myrtle Beach 400. We just had the 25-lap heat race where positions 3 back on the grid were decided. So the starting grid is go, but now we're here at the main event, a 250-lapper in the dead of night here in South Carolina. 400 miles of short track racing, and the Chevrolet Monte Carlo late model awaits us. Once again, I'm Reese Gardner. Joining me, Cameron Dance and Jay Kennedy in the commentary box. Cam, the sun has gone down, but the heat is going to turn up.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the main event, and this is where it's all going to happen. Pretty much, if you're in the championship hunt, it's time to go hard or go home, because there's nothing left on the table, and this is the final chance to score any sort of point.
Certainly. We've got the Sportsman Championship still to be decided between Robert Northway, along with his fellow racers, Shane Bowen and Daniel Stevens. Northway seems to be in the best position to win it right now, but Jay Kennedy, we're about to go racing, and the grid is up on the screen.
Sure is, Dane Burns. We'll start from pole with Josh Nowak in second position. We've got third, Trevor Mack, with Robert Northway in fourth, John King in fifth, Jake Fox in sixth position, Daniel Stevens and Ulis Pateklis on row number 4. And we've got Bowen and Otto on the fifth row with Daryl Hockey, Danny Vassell, Christopher Norton, Craig Hawkins, Chris Pence, and guess who's turned up for the start of the race?
Oh.
Dean Moll is on the grid.
Let's
have a look at this car.
This is going to be fantastic.
It's just yellow. That's anticlimactic.
Whoops.
We've built that up way too much too early.
Yeah, we certainly have. Well, I guess that's just
I'm glad he's on the grid, though. I'm glad he's on the grid.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Of course, we've got to remember he's on holidays right now, so he had to pack up his gear to go racing. Oh, seems to be having a few technical issues on the grid, but nonetheless, there he goes. And Cam, we are away on the first of 2 formation laps.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where you've got to get yourself into the mindset, just relax, get it all ready. Strategy's going to be pretty easy as far as pit stops. It's just pretty much go as long as you can and then pit and then go again due to the lack of fuel burn. But you're going to...
Unfortunately, seem to have briefly lost you there, Cam, but you're right about the strategy. In theory, you can do 175 laps or so with a tank of fuel through green flag, and the tyres, there won't be much drop-off for that at all. But our inside information source suspects that everyone will target doing only the last 100 laps or so without stopping. The tyres should last, but the pace drop-off, Jay, is quite big.
Yeah, that plus you don't really want to do green flag pit stops as well. Green flag pit stops will straight away put you 2 laps down. So you really got to be careful in how you do these pit stops. There's going to be a lot of strategy to come out. It's a long race. You want to stay as clean as you can throughout. So we get ready to go. Green flag flies. We're underway for the final round.
Yes, we are, and Dwayne Burns once again doing really good to get a good gap there, but side by side in the background, 55 and 57, Trevor Mack and Robert Northway. Mack, once again, making really good use of that outside line, as we saw in the opening heat. Fantastic run from him, but Dwayne Burns has already pulled a couple of car lengths on Josh Nowak as lap 1 is complete. And the field moving roughly into single file. Looks to me like Shane Bowen just going side by side in the background. A little bit of a pack forming in the lower reaches of the top 10 there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty much single file for the most part. Like you said, a couple of guys still jostling for position at the moment. Aldous Particular's currently trying to go round the outside of Norton and Bowen, and it's looking like it's going to work because he's going to try and go around the outside of Bowen here. He's going to possibly even get Jake Fox as well with this midline, which seems to be working really, really well.
Yeah, working really well for Pateklis. That's a fantastic run. He spent a couple of laps around the outside of Shane Bowen, but he's managed to get it done. And have a look at Christopher Norton. He's going to try and do the same thing. You can see Shane Bowen there almost going defensive, but Norton going for the inside. Oh, very close in these early stages. They don't want to be racing too hard, though. It looks to me like Norton is all right going for the bottom here, but Bowen, he's seen what Pateklis can do on the outside line. He's going to try and make use of that himself. Have a look at the exit that he's got from there. That outside line definitely seems to be where it's at the moment.
Pateklis very wide. Of course, Norton around.
No!
Stay on it, stay on it. No, we're going to... we're staying green, we're staying green.
Great job. Recovery. Good recovery from Christopher Norton. He has lost a few positions out of that, though. And that's what you were talking about before, the warm-up race, Cam. The fact that it's very easy to make contact with a guy on the outside here at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a really, really good save from Norton there. I didn't actually think he was going to save it with how sideways and crossed up he got, and also how close he got to the wall, but he did really, really well to hold on to it. So really good job, but we've got a battle going on for the minors at the moment, and there's more contact between Particular's and Steve.
Oh, goodness me, and that is, yep, caution out, which is a bit of a shame for Josh Nowak, because just observed he had caught right up to the back of Dwayne Burns. So unfortunately, seems like things are going to be reset for those guys up the front, and Burns has a better chance of creating that gap again. So we're focused on Dean Mole right now. So we have a look at this replay. So what on earth happened here?
Just looks like Stevens and Pateklis just door-to-door contact. Pateklis, as Cam said before the first race started, that you've got to be careful of the car on the outside where they are when you're coming out of the exit of the corner, because the corner profile just means that you check up the track a little bit. But of course, one thing I was going to say too is Norton's trying to have a bit of a recovery drive here. Of course, in race 1, or in the heat race, I should say, he was up there for fighting for the lead and then got shuffled all the way back down the field. So Norton trying to recover back through the field after a disappointing end to the first heat, or to the heat earlier in the night, and now finds himself up to 10th, so he's already plus 3 spots on where he started, and he'll continue to move forward as this goes on, because he's got some great pace.
Yes, indeed. Dean Mole manually disconnecting from the server. He just pulled into his pit box and out he went, so obviously having some big technical issues there. That's a real shame. Barely made it a few laps. In the pits, meanwhile, Craig Hawkins and Daniel Stevens have come in. Hawkins just getting back out onto the circuit now, but Stevens spending a bit longer in the pits there. Must have taken a bit of extra fuel, get some damage repaired, but now, have a look, he's got to wait at the pit exit for everyone to go by before he can re-enter the racetrack. That's going to hurt him unless there's another caution. He's
just gone a lap down as well, so it's going to make it really tough for him at this early stage. A long way left to go, so it's not that hard to get a lap back if you get a bit of strategy for your way, but the fact that we've gone under caution, only 10 laps in, 10 laps complete, now you've got a lap down. It's going to be a tough ask from now to the end of the race. See how he goes.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's definitely possible to get laps back as the safety car lights have gone out, so we are going to go green this time by. Unsure if Lucky Dog is on for this race.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either, but we'll try and get it confirmed in the next little bit. We'll sure get a message sent through in the next minute or two confirming or denying that.
Yeah, because if Lucky Dog was on, then that would really help the guys at the back of the field. Really help Daniel Stevens. But Dwayne Burns is away once again. The green flag out. Robert Northway and Josh Nowak battling hard there. Northway may go for the position here. He's already there up into second, and Burns has not gotten quite the gap that he would have wanted, I suppose.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have gotten the run that he did off the previous start, so Northway's actually done really, really well to get the start that he has on this restart, and possibly could look to make a move on Burns here as Nowak trying to make a move as well on Northway there, but Northway is right on the tail of Burns here and trying to find a way by, but now Nowak's going to go around the outside of him.
Can confirm as well, we do have Lucky Dogs on, so although these guys are a lap down, it's still a long way to go, and saying that Daniel Stevens is back in the pits. Nowak wide.
Yeah, very wide. He just looks like he may have made contact with the wall coming into turn one, and obviously once you glance off that wall in a straight line, it's like a car just gets sucked towards it, so he's still got a front row seat for this top two battle right now. We've got a car coming out of the pits in front of these guys, and have a look at Robert Northway. He's going for the move on Dwayne Burns. They got to give each other room on the exit. Very hard racing early on, but now this lapped car is going to come into contention. That's Daniel Stevens, actually. He's just come out of the pits again, so obviously...
I think he may have got a penalty under that caution for maybe... because he did pull up on the line, but he might have crossed that line, and almost contact between Burns and Nowak, and already Northway starting to get a bit of a gap at the front.
Yeah, once there's been a bit of running on this track, it seems like Northway, the car has really come to him, so that's good to see for the number 55, but Dwayne Burns starting to fall back here. It seems like he may have had a car set up for the preliminary conditions when the track was cooler and there's not as much rubber on it, so now he has got a big bit of pressure on him from Nowak and Mack as well.
Trevor Mack looks really strong at the moment too. Sorry, Cam.
I was just going to say it's really, really tight between those two, and I think, like you said, Reese, he's possibly set the car up for slightly different conditions, or he's more or less set the car up to be better later in the stint when the tyres and fuel burn off rather than be better.
Oh,
Daryl Hockey around
again.
Yeah, Daryl Hockey's around in the background, so got a little bit of damage to the rear of that CMR car. We'll try and pick up what's happened to him.
Yes, indeed we will. So he was in a pack of the 97 and the 666.
Contact ridiculous.
Yeah, rear end contact it seems, maybe. It's happening on the exit. No. Oh, looks like it was on entry. Oh, that's a shame. Just a tiny tap was all it took.
It's fairly minor damage. It looks like Hockey's car, although there is a tiny little bit of a scratch on the back. I don't think it'll be too damaged. I think you'll be able to continue on without requiring a pit stop. And of course, Daniel Stevens will get a Lucky Dog wave around this time. He has gone 3 laps down, but as long as he is the only car a lap down, it won't take too long for him to get those laps back. So now gets waved by to come 2 laps down.
Yes, indeed. And Craig Hawkins is back in the pits for some reason. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. He's taking tyres.
Possibly tactic. Take tyres at every pit stop, or take fuel at every pit stop. 11-second stop, so maybe only taking 2 tyres as well.
That's very odd. Yeah, because I'm just going to rewind it on my end to double check. It looks like he only took inside tyres there.
Also got Pence and Hockey in the pits too, so a few guys have decided to jump into the lane at the closing stages of this stop, or of this caution I should say. We've already gone pretty much the length of that heat race already. It's flying by this race already. We're already a tenth of the way through. I'm sure we only just got the green flag like 20 seconds ago, didn't we?
Yeah, only been one lap of racing, guys, and we've managed to squeeze 2 cautions into that. That's pretty insane.
It's gonna be a good fun night of racing because with short track racing it goes by very quick with the laps being so short, but because it's like a big Coliseum style, the racing is always a bit of push and shove. There's always a little bit of argy-bargy, which we don't mind, a little bit of rubbing, but when it comes to guys getting turned, that's where we sort of don't really like that sort of stuff happening. But for the most part, the racing we saw at the front there, and that stint there was incredible. Northway is looking really strong at the moment. It's going to be tough to beat at the current rate.
Yeah, certainly. That old Chester the Cheetah livery up the front seems to be doing Northway pretty well right now. Lights on the safety car are still on, so we're going to be going green next time by. The drivers are now forming up, so we'll see if Northway can do what Burns has done in the past and just eke out that gap and maintain it for the majority of that opening stint.
We still have 14 of our 15 cars on the lead lap. As we said, Stevens is now 2 laps down, but it won't take too long for him to get them back. His pace actually looks okay too, but here we go. Ready to go green again.
Yes, indeed. So Robert Northway and Dwayne Burns side by side. And Burns not hanging back as far as... oh, wow. That was a bit early there from Northway. It looks like Dwayne was really caught out by that because Josh Nowak has managed to nab second right off the start. That's fantastic to see for Nowak. Oh, no!
Oh, that was close. Oh. Danny Vassell almost looped it around him. Just held on.
Oh, Shane Bowen! Oh! Sorry, Shane Bowen just really slow off the exit, and I think that caught out Pateklis. So, big battle here in the lower reaches of the field. Shane Bowen has really been in the wars tonight.
Yeah, he's really sort of struggled in this race, this feature race, and he's actually just touched the wall there on the exit, turn 2. So, yeah, not sure what the situation is, whether he's using the same setup as Dwayne Burns because they're on the same team, or what the story is. But yeah, really, really strange, and unfortunately he's struggling this much.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. Well, he's been able to get past Phil Otto. Sorry, Jay.
I was just about to say, have a look at the gap that Northway's already pulled. Trevor Mack also looking strong. Christopher Norton is up to 5th as well, so we can't discount Norton here. He looks really, really strong, as he did in the heat race as well.
Yeah, certainly does. Fantastic stuff from Norton, and looks to me like, well, Burns really falling behind, because it seems like Nowak's been able to just squeeze a bit of extra pace out of his car, get a little bit of a gap on the number 19. Oh, yeah. Norton continuing as climb up as he's battling here with Trevor Mack. He's trying to make that inside. Yeah, very good fight.
Oh, almost contact.
So close, but it looks to me with that, Trevor Mack has managed to secure 4th place.
Shane Bowen up the inside of Danny Vassell as well. And Ulis Pateklis trying to get involved too. Watch out, boys. Vassell just stayed a little low through the exit of 4 there and checked up Bowen a little bit. It's checked up the rest of the pack behind. These guys are going to go at it really, really aggressively into 3 and 4 here. Pateklis has dropped off, couldn't quite get the exit of the corner. Now Daryl Hockey's getting in too.
Yeah, he's just trying to go for this move here on Phil Otto. And Otto's been doing very well to hold that outside line these last couple of turns. Maybe a little too deep that time round, but oh, have a look at that. That's how you laid apex while still going wide. Good job there from Otto to hold off Mr. Hockey there.
Hockey still looks strong though. He's looking like one of the strongest drivers. Is Trevor Mack actually coming back at Christopher Norton here? This isn't finished.
No, certainly isn't. These guys still very close, glued together at the moment, bumper to bumper. It seems like once Norton got by, he's having to recalibrate himself, not go for that inside line instantly as he was with his fight through the field. He needs to make sure that he's getting that line right with a bit of space in front of him, so as not to fall back into the clutches of the guy he just passed.
Yeah, and there's one thing to also remember is that these guys can actually make adjustments in their pit stops. They can add or remove tape, and then they can also adjust the rear, right rear ride height as well. So this could be an interesting strategy play that a lot of guys are going to make. They've probably set the cars up to be a little bit oversteer at the beginning, and then what they can do is just
Caution's
make
out.
it a little bit thick, and the caution is out for some reason.
Phil Otto's around at the exit of turn 4. Try and pick up what's happened to him, but that was a nice little green flag stint there. A couple of very, very good passes in the middle of it too.
Yes, indeed. So we're currently on replay right now. So Phil Otto and that's Craig Hawkins there. We'll see what's happened between these guys.
Contact.
Yeah, perhaps. No. Yeah, on exit. Oh, that's a shame. Hawkins just going wide there on the exit and tagging Otto.
Strategy is coming into play too, boys. Robert Northway in the pits, Dane Burns in the pits, Pateklis and Hockey in the pits, Hawkins in the pits. So now the strategy game is really starting to play out. Nowak now back in the lead of the race. Let's see how this goes now with Northway back on fresh tyres. This is going to be really interesting.
It certainly is. I mean, I'm interested to see what Burns can do, because obviously when his tyres were fresh, when the track was fresh, he was the class of the field, it seems. So we'll have a look at how he goes relative to the likes of Northway when they go back green this time round. So Northway, it looks to me like he's changing all 4 of his tyres. Falling back slightly. Pateklis, on the other hand, has he jumped them?
Yeah, Pateklis has jumped them. Only 11-second stop. Northway with a 24-second stop. So I'm thinking Northway 4 tyres, Pateklis 2 tyres. Of course, there's limited men over the wall in the late models, so be a little bit slower for your pit stops. Only taking 2 tyres, obviously twice as fast as taking 4. That's about the difference in time. So I'm going to say Pateklis is taking 2. The rest of the guys are taking 4 tyres.
Yeah, it's an interesting play there from Pateklis, because at tracks like this, it is more beneficial, I suppose, to take 4 tyres at the stop, seeing as the turns aren't as extremely banked as at some other racetracks. But Pateklis, we'll see how he goes with that. Might be a bit of an experiment just to see if he can try and maintain the position he's just managed to gain.
Very interesting to see how the rest of the pack respond now as we head on into the next phase of the race. We're now pretty much coming up to a 5th race distance already, and the likes of Nowak and Norton especially, what's he going to do now, knowing now that Northway's on fresh tyres and looking really strong? Norton will likely have to respond in the next caution period to take tyres. Northway will then probably reassume the race lead.
Yeah, that's the thing. And with races like this, you really are taking a bit of a chance on whether or not there will be another caution, because honestly, you really don't know. Like, some races and some fields are more caution prone than others, but it's entirely possible that we'll have a huge green flag period from now. And we'll see what happens. So Northway already making those moves. He's trying to go around the outside of Pateklis on those fresh tyres. He's right in the thick of it. Oh, 3 wide with Phil Otto. Almost a bit of contact. Have a look at this. This is fantastic. Oh, that's crazy there. Phil Otto holding the outside really well.
Contact.
But no, little bit of contact. Bump and run
straight
there
in
from
the
Northway.
middle.
But my goodness, yeah, that's fantastic to see from Robert Northway. You can tell he's really making those fresh tyres work for him. And look who he's on the back of, Shane Bowen. He's going to try and follow him through here.
Look at the difference in pace there, and you can see Jake Fox just got a little bit of wheel spin and just straight through the middle of Fox and Pateklis just on those fresh tyres. Massive advantage that he's got is also, here comes Bowen past Danny Vassell, and have a look at Northway trying to come through as well. This is an awesome fight. I don't think it'll be long before Northway will be on the tail of Nowak at the current rate he's going.
Yeah, excellent pace from Robert Northway off of the back of that caution. Now he's going to try and go down the inside of Shane Bowen in the first couple of turns, and it looks like that's a pretty easy job. Shane Bowen, I think, electing not to fight that. They got to think about the long game in races like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And interesting to see the difference in pace. Northway's just done a 19.0 while Nowak and Norton have done 19.2. So there's that big of an advantage to fresh tyres that he should easily catch guys ahead of him.
And he did that while passing 2 cars at the same time, did Northway. So the pace difference is definitely there. That lap there, about the same lap time, but I think now that he's back in a rhythm, already catching up on the back of John King, catching him very, very quickly as Northway. This is going to be a good fight to see whether he can get through.
Yeah, indeed it will. Have a look at the
Burns and
difference in
Pateklis.
lines. Oh, yeah. This is pretty close between them. Danny Vassell in the midst of this as well. So Pateklis, of course, only taking outside tyres, and you can see that on the exit. Burns, oh, just not able to get the move done down the inside. Vassell's a bit in the way, but they're going to go 3 wide down the front.
Oh,
stretch, and
contact.
Vassell, oh, no!
No.
Oh, that's
Oh, and still no caution. There it is now. Wow, we've got 5 cars involved. Watch out as you rejoin the Burns. Hawkins was a bit of an innocent bystander at the end, but you could see that one almost happening there. Just the new tyre versus old tyre. A few guys getting frustrated. Burns ends up facing the wrong direction, as well as Danny Vassell.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame there. Looking at the replay, looks like there may have been a bit of contact on the exit of the final turn. We're having a look here. Burns definitely got that over-under done at the exit, but just a little bit of contact between him and Danny Vassell, and Vassell losing that rear end. He was just not able to move back up the racetrack once Burns made that tiny bit of contact.
I actually think Vassell probably wasn't even looking on the inside, knowing that there was Pateklis on the outside, trying to make sure that he was giving Pateklis enough room. Made the corner a little bit too shallow, and then that was where the contact come from. I'm pretty sure that Vassell probably doesn't even know how that incident happened right now.
Yeah, well, there's a few different angles you could take of that one, but it definitely looked to me like once that initial contact was made between Vassell and Burns, Vassell had a lot of trouble trying to recover that. And of course, we can't forget Burns, I think, just overcorrecting in that slide, and that basically sealed the deal. But Burns is in the pits now.
Only just got out before the pace car got to him too, so he's lucky to stay on the lead lap. He almost went a lap down. We have got Daniel Stevens has got back on the lead lap, but Danny Vassell now has gone a lap down.
Well, fortunately for Vassell, he will get the lucky dog at some point, and he'll be able to get back onto the back of that train.
So got Chris Pence in the pits to get some damage fixed and get himself back out there, and Vassell is at the back of the train, 1 lap down as we said. It looks like Pence will also go 1 lap down because he's going to have to hold up at the end of pit lane. No, he might just beat the pace car out. Jeez, that's close.
Yes. That's very fortunate for those guys. That's one of the things that you got to be wary of at short tracks like this. Even at pace speed, the cars are actually completing laps at quite a rapid rate. So if you don't get your pit stop done in time, if you don't get out of the pits in time, then you have no choice but to go a lap down.
Yeah, and that's really one of the key things you have to remember about when you do strategy, is that if you do make that stop under caution, you kind of have to make sure that you're not in there too long so that you end up a lap down.
Big thing too, if you've got damage as well, how long you actually take to fix damage and how you play the damage there. As Daniel Stevens comes back into the pits, and actually he's just going to the back of the field because he was a lucky dog. So how you play the strategy if you do get lucky dogs as well also is very, very key, to make sure that you don't pit at the wrong point to then get penalised and negate any of that advantage you have as we're about to go green again.
Indeed we are. Josh Nowak leading them away. Christopher Norton on the outside. We'll be watching Robert Northway in the 55 though. Nowak going, and the response from Norton seems to be pretty good so far. Have a look at
Northway.
Northway. Yeah, fantastic. Around the outside once again, working those fresh tyres. Absolutely 100% to their advantage.
Looks like we've had something happen to Daryl Hockey as well. He's had some sort of tech issue. It looks like he might be race over.
That's a bit of a shame there for Mr. Hockey, but they're continuing to fight back in the field. They've gone a bit single file up the front, but Northway looks to me is really pressuring the back of Christopher Norton right now. He's right on his bumper, actually. Have a look at the run that he managed to get through those last 2 turns. That's pretty immense.
Almost bump drafting over the start-finish line. Oh, Northway, massive slide. Just held on, and Norton checked him up in the middle of the corner there. This is a good fight here.
Yeah, certainly is. Trevor Mack might be wanting to get in on this as well. Have a look at how aggressive Northway is on entry into turn 3. He's carried that down the start-finish straight through turn 4. It seems like he may be wanting to make that outside line work for him, if possible.
Oh, that was close there. As Norton chopped the nose of Northway. These guys are going at it hard, and Josh Nowak is quite happy for these guys to fight as he starts to break away. As is, contact!
There we go.
Oh, caution is
out. So Daryl Hockey dropping, unfortunately, due to his technical issues, but caution out once again, and that caution was 100% caused by that incident between Norton and Northway. Let's have a look at what happened here.
Norton actually did it on his own initially. He actually got a little bit sideways on entry from just getting over the bumps. He actually touched the wall heading down the front straight as well at a turn 4, so maybe a little bit of damage contributed to that, but he was already sideways before Northway even touched.
Yeah, I think they're both at fault there too, because Northway did miss the apex of the corner at the same point, so Norton was already sideways, Northway's missed the apex. They both made contact as they're both trying to correct their issues.
Yes, racing incident through and through, I think. But Christopher Norton is now in the pits with a bit of a banged up front end.
So was Nowak.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
so
Nowak's seeking strategy now. 189 laps to go. If they're under caution for a few, that's pretty much from now to make it home. If you've got 3 cautions from here, you can make it home on fuel. I don't think you want to do it on a set of tyres, though, looking at the pace advantage that Northway's had.
Yeah, certainly not. Well, Christopher Norton in the pits with that front end looking decidedly more like a car of tomorrow than a late model.
It's not a lot nice looking front end on it at the moment, is it?
No, certainly not.
But hopefully he makes it out. Is he going to make it out before the pace car comes on by here?
Yeah, I think he just might. And you know, of course, these guys may have be carrying damage on these cars, but you got to remember at these short tracks, aero doesn't really come into the equation. It's more about mechanical grip than anything at these tracks.
Yeah, for sure. And while it does have a little bit of impact, it's not detrimental when you're at somewhere like Daytona or Talladega or one of those bigger long tracks where it's all about the draft and everything. So a little bit of contact here and there or bump with the wall or something like that, it's not overly massive. If you obviously hit the wall as hard as Norton did, for example, it's probably better to take your spare car. But like I said, it's not about aero, it's just all about making sure that car is in one piece mechanically.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well,
actually, sorry, Reese, on that, if damage a panel, it's okay, but it's when you start to damage steering arms and suspension that you start to feel the real damage from the car. So nose to tail contact's not really going to hurt you. It's when you get those side to side and then bang your wheels into the wall or bang your wheels into other cars is where you're going to start feeling issues.
yeah, that's exactly right. Well, lights will be going out on the pace car this time by, I presume.
Good news, Daryl Hockey's made it back as well, Reese.
Ah, good. Good stuff there. So he'll be able to get back and get lucky dogs to make his way back up to the back if he just gets out there quick enough. So Robert Northway is going to be the one leading the charge here. Trevor Mack alongside as the pace car pulls in. Oh, Mack, you want to get behind him there. Don't want to be in front of the leader when the green flag flies, because you'll get a penalty. So Northway pulls away, and Trevor Mack did not respond well to that at all, because Aldis Pateklis has made his way up into second. It looks like he may keep it for the next few corners at least.
Probably the slide from Northway coming out of turn 2. He was so crossed up. That's full commitment. He's trying to break this train, because he knows that Norton and Nowak are going to be coming with fresh tyres at him.
Yeah, certainly. It's really Robert Northway's prerogative right now to gap as much as he can. We're looking further back in the field at Daniel Stevens, who's currently embroiled in a fight with Christopher Norton and the 08 of Jake Fox. Getting involved with Shane Bowen as well, and Josh Nowak right behind these guys. This is not going to be optimal for him at all.
Yeah, it definitely is. And then Norton still actually appears to have a little bit of damage to that front end as well from that incident earlier on. So he hasn't used that spare car, which is actually not too bad of a bad idea because of how long this race is. So just carrying on with that little bit of damage, which doesn't actually seem to be affecting him too bad. If anything, it's actually helping him drive around the outside of everyone. So
whoa,
Nowak
into Stevens.
Make a move.
That did not work out.
Contact with Stevens. Have a look at the big tyre mark in the door of Daniel Stevens' car from the contact. There's a huge circle. His car's now a 06, not a 66, with a big O on the side of that car.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, he's going to try again.
Yep, Nowak really pushing it at the moment. Of course, carrying a little bit of damage here. Nowak, confirmed champion right now as he makes his way past Stevens finally. But, you know, he still wants to be able to get a good result here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got the championship wrapped up entirely. There's pretty much no way anyone can beat him, not even Norton at this stage. So he's just out there for a bit of fun and really trying to get a race result at the end.
Yeah, that's right. So Daniel Stevens falls behind. We're currently looking all through the field at the moment as everyone...
Sorry to throw you there, Reese.
Yeah, that's all right. That's fine. It's just like, oh, we're going to look at Jake Fox, and oh no, we're back on Stevens
Actually,
again.
just looking at something, have a look at the last lap time from Northway compared to the rest of the field. Northway last lap a 19.1. Next closest Pateklis a 19.2. The guys with fresh tyres from that last pit stop. Norton a 19.6, Pence 19.5, Nowak 19.3. So Northway, even with those 35 lap hole tyres, he's still going incredibly quick right now.
Yeah, certainly. He's doing very well at the moment to maintain that lead. Of course, it doesn't help those guys further back that they are in amongst slower cars with older tyres themselves. So they do have their issues trying to get by those guys. So Northway taking advantage of that situation as much as he can right now. He's doing very well out in the lead. Over a second at the line at the moment.
John King starting to feel pressure from behind from Dane Burns. These guys pitted under the previous caution, not the last one, the one before. So these guys are very, very equal on strategy and tyres at the moment. But Burns looks stronger, just can't quite get through at the moment.
Seems that way.
Slightly quicker as well.
Danny Vassell around to the back straight. We're going to stay green at the moment, are we? Whoa,
Yes,
watch
we
out.
are. Whoa, watch out.
No, contact with the leader.
Take it easy, boys. That was a little bit closer than I think it needed to be.
Replay on screen now. We'll see what happened. Vassell, as you see, go down a lap. And I think there might be contact here. Was he helped? Yeah, contact with the 25 with the Hawkins car. Yeah. Oh.
I'm not exactly sure how that didn't actually result in a caution
I was
either.
about to say the same thing.
Yeah, that's very strange. Of course, we don't have live race control for these races. Cautions are automatic, which does work very well, but it seems in that case just wasn't quite enough to trigger the automatic caution.
Works well, it's just not perfect.
Of course.
Jake Fox applying pressure now on Shane Bowen. Chris Pence also starting to close up. So these guys with the fresh tyres in that last pit stop now are starting to see a real advantage. They'll start to move up. Interesting that Norton has just dropped off. I'm wondering if he's made an adjustment to the car and the car has not responded, or whether there is actually some damage that is holding him up. because he now is nearly 2 seconds behind Nowak. Remember at the restart, he was ahead.
He was about 3/10 lap slower as well that last lap. So yeah, I'd say he's either made a change, or the damage he hasn't fixed is possibly holding him up. Not.
That's very odd there. Well, currently riding on board with Jake Fox as we look back at the teammates of Bowen and Burns flying in formation right now in 5th and 6th. And Burns...
Oh, Havlic's behind. Pence and Nowak almost made contact with the car of Vassal there as we swapped from the onboard and went back, and here comes Nowak up the inside of Pence.
Yeah, Nowak just taking a little bit of the pit exit on his way past Pence, but Pence, it seems, holding on around the outside. Nowak be able to get it done. Big wide entry from Pence, and he's just able to maintain that momentum, but it seems Nowak just gets that little bit extra. Oh, hang on a minute. Pence, he's still pressuring him. He's not quite done yet.
It's not done at all. He's trying to get this move done. Pence looks stronger. It's just that Nowak had his car position in the perfect spot. Jake Fox also looks like he might be going to let Nowak through here. Unintentionally, of course, just with different tyre strength or different tyre length in their stint. And through goes Nowak, and I dare say that Pence will follow him through here.
Yeah, Jake Fox valiantly defending, I think, against against both guys, but his tyres just are not up to the task right now.
Yeah, they'll be hurting quite a bit with how old they are at the moment. Still out there on the same set that he started on, if I'm not mistaken. So that's quite an old set of tyres to be 86.
Norton's in a bit of trouble here. Now, at the moment, last lap by at 19.8 is now 10 seconds behind our race leader in Robert Northway, who is doing 19.2 second laps, so he's half a lap behind. Northway is not far off lapping his main contender, who we thought in this race was a serious chance of winning, in Christopher Norton.
Yeah, exactly. That's a real shame to see. Norton's race has just nosedived since that unfortunate contact between himself and Northway. So we'll have to wait and see what he can do in his next pit stop. He will not want to take one. Yeah.
Nowak through on Bowen, as Bowen just got a little bit checked up in the mid-corner, had a little bit of a slide, and through he goes. So Nowak now up into 6th position, now currently 28 laps into his stint. Trevor Mack is the highest placed driver yet to make a stop in 3rd position. He's on his 90th lap in the stint, obviously. 90-lap race, or 90 laps into the race, I should say. And John King not able to make inroads with those fresh tyres. This is now the point where the tyres really start to hurt. Halfway through a tyre and fuel run on these short tracks, the tyres are really screaming, wanting to get off the car, but if you're feeling comfortable at the same time, you can push on for quite a while.
You certainly can. As we discussed before the race, it's entirely possible to go 175 laps on a single fuel tank, but
so we could see 200 lap stints here with the way that the pit stops have played. Oh, sorry, the cautions have played out. Could see really long stints.
You certainly could. It seems like we're in the middle of quite the green flag period right now.
Race has ruined it. Sorry, everyone.
Oh.
It's the commentator's curse. No,
For God's
oh, look at that right on cue. Caution's
Oh.
out. What has happened? Danny Vassal's slow. It looks like he's blown up on the front straight.
Oh.
I'm putting that one on you, Reese.
Hard as well.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, Jay. Due to the delay on Discord, as you were saying, Reese has already ruined it. I heard the yellow flag is out. Oh wow! So Danny
I think Vassal's had a hardware failure there because he just went straight into the wall and then it didn't turn. It took a little while for him to correct it. So I think Vassal's had some sort of tech failure, but everyone is in the pits, no surprise. But Teclis, the only one that has stayed out, as well as Pence. But no surprise to see Northway, Mack, King, especially Norton in the pits.
Yeah, certainly. They will all be wanting the freshest of tyres, straight from the kitchen to your table.
Not necessarily from the kitchen. They're actually not preheated tires, so they're actually cold. So the guys actually
They're
do have to get
salads.
some
They come from the fridge.
Tire salads.
I don't know.
SimSpeed TV tire salads
I
going
don't-
cheap today. They're on special.
I don't know if they'd taste too good.
No.
You don't know. Could you know?
Trust me, I don't want to try.
Put a bit of cayenne pepper on them. They might taste nice. That's preheated.
Fox is going to be in trouble here. Jake Fox is actually going to go lap down. He's been forced to check up, and he's just come out anyway. So we're going to have to be interested to see if Fox could get in trouble from the automated race control for coming out of the pits too early.
Yeah,
He
looks to
might
me
have got time
like
to hold up.
Yeah, there we go. He's going slow, isn't he? So Jake Fox, and that's really unfortunate for him.
If he has done the wrong thing there, he'll actually have to come in and make a stop and go under green as well. So that's a double penalty for Fox if he has come out of the pits too early. I'm fairly sure it would have been giving the message to not exit the pit lane. The pit exit is closed, as opposed to how it's coming past. We'll find out soon enough. If we see him dive into the pits, we know that that's happened.
Yes, indeed. Well, he's already letting everybody go, so obviously not the most optimal of situations for him. But Aldis Pateklis has assumed the lead behind the safety car. Robert Northway right behind him, though.
It's going to be an interesting fight here now.
Good.
Norton still hasn't got his damage fixed either. I'm surprised by that. I would have thought Christopher Norton would have got his damage repaired, considering how off the pace he was. As we said, though, he might have made a change to the car and it's made that adjustment back the other way and see how it improves the car. He's lucky to not go a lap down. I think if he had another 10 laps of green flag running, he would have been a lap down.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, Jay. And I did actually, with Norton coming in the pits on that lap, he probably got a little bit of damage fixed. Not a huge amount, but with this race being so long, he's just biding his time until he really does need to use that spare car, because there's no point using it this early on and then suddenly having a bigger crash.
I'll tell you one thing it will do. It'll allow him to get a little bit closer to everyone's bumpers because his car's a little bit shorter. Aldis Pateklis leading the field away and already streaking out in the lead. But let's have a look at Robert Northway in second place, see what he can do versus Pateklis.
Reece, I must say you're forever the optimist, thinking that it's a good thing your car's a bit shorter, seeing you closer to bump draft someone. Or the only thing that's going to disadvantage him if he's got to race to the finish line at the end of the race. He won't be able to stick that tongue out quite as far.
Yeah, true. Have a look at Northway on the inside of Pateklis.
Oh, you can tell it's the end of the year.
Yeah, we're getting into that festive
Pateklis,
mode.
no!
Oh, Jesus. Look at that. So, Northway really right alongside Pateklis now, and they're running alongside each other, I think, a bit longer than either of them would like, because have a look at Trevor Mack. He's pulling right up to these guys. It's going to be a proper top three battle soon if Northway can't get this done, if Pateklis can't defend. And there we go. Northway into the lead. Didn't take him long.
He had a bit of a fight on his hands to do it, but he managed to get the job done regardless.
Good move as well, just using that pace advantage. Pateklis still on those old tyres. Remember, he only changed 2 tyres at the pit stop. He did pit under, well, that caution period he did pit under. That was 64 laps ago, so Pateklis will be really starting to hurt. Phil Otto as well, yet to pit. He's done 103 laps in this stint. He did drop to the back of the field at the restart, so he's just happy putting around and biding his time to the end. I know those tyres will not be feeling too good right now.
No, certainly not. He'll be fighting that thing over those bumps coming into turn 1 for sure. Pateklis, though, really facing pressure here from Trevor Mack. We're riding on board with Mack right now. We'll have a look at Pateklis just running a little bit wide. Now Mack super pressuring him.
Good move.
There we go. Very nice. Oh, Pateklis trying to hold on exit, though. Yeah. We did.
Good move back.
Yeah. Good.
Good driving here from Pateklis, especially with old tyres versus brand new ones.
Yeah, look at that. He's really making use of them on the exit. It looks to me like if Matt can just pull alongside here before the mid-corner, he might have a chance. Pateklis, though, he's just able to get that exit down nicely.
Yeah, I think it's to do with also the extra momentum he's able to carry through the corner and just get that little bit extra exit speed, which is helping him a bit. But then,
no!
Bit of contact.
Here comes Burns.
Yeah, he's right on his way and battling with Nowak as well.
I thought that we were going to see Mac put into the fence there. Pateklis tried to come down a little bit to take the spot, and have a look at this. Nowak straight through as well on Dane Burns. So Nowak up into 4th, and he's going to try and put pressure on contact between him and Pateklis. And he holds on.
Oh, goodness me, heart was in my mouth there. I thought that would have been another caution.
Get a quick replay of that contact between Nowak and Pateklis. You see Nowak a little bit too aggressive into the corner, got a little bit of a slide up. Just the different line that Pateklis took there. He should have stayed on that higher line that he'd been taking earlier, because I think he would have avoided contact. Because Pateklis and King now side by side. Pateklis back through around the outside. So he's just running that wider line that he's more comfortable with. He's in the background, Norton in the wall.
Whoa.
Heavy contact.
Yeah, very heavy. So Norton has even more of his front end damage now. He's facing pressure from Jake Fox in the meantime.
This damage could help him actually, Reese, because it's the right front. Actually looks like, as we got a caution out, we've got Danny Vassell around again.
Oh.
That little bit of contact he just made with the wall actually could have helped him turn in the corner a bit more, the way that it banged the car out. So we'll see.
True.
But it might not mean anything now as the caution back out again. We'll get a CPR replay up on screen and work out what happened.
Yes, indeed. So Norton, of course, going straight into the pits as a result of that. Maybe getting his damage repaired.
Possibly a meatball as well, because that wasn't actually that soft of a hit as well.
Hmm.
Actually,
Well,
get another
my
look
eyes-
at that, because I'll see, jump on board with Norton. You can see the hit in the wall. Here it is right here. Bang, a hard hit. Doesn't look like it actually caused him any steering damage. Actually, it does look like it's caused him a little bit of steering damage. Left hand down from that. So, yeah, that'll be disappointing for Norton, as his race is just going from bad to worse, isn't it?
Still not getting the spare car in the pits. So
Saving it as late as he can.
yeah.
We've seen this a few times.
Alternatively, he may have taken it by mistake early on.
But that is possible as well. It's in saying that he's made 3 pit stops and he had that damage at the first stop, so I don't think he has. But that car does not look good. Look at the way it's bouncing coming out of the pit exit there. I think he might have to come in and get some more damage fixed. Probably just bring it up to the back of the field and come back in again.
Yeah, he might have to. That's a really sick-looking car from Norton's point of view. So very unfortunate for him. It's just been a gradual slide back down for poor old Christopher Norton.
Tell you what's
Robert
amazing me
North,
right now, Reece. Sorry, I'm just going to say we're almost halfway. How quick is this race gone?
Oh.
You say it's 250 laps. We're almost halfway. It's flying by. We said that it was going to be a fairly short race in regards to time, but you hear 250 laps, you think, well, we're here for a few hours. We're halfway through it. It's just flying by.
Yeah, so we're almost at the golden lap 125. And obviously, once they get past lap 115, there'll be drivers who, if they have taken fuel at this caution, they will be fueled to the very end of the race.
Disappointingly, in one aspect, Phil Otto has come into the pits to get some fresh tyres on the car. He's rejoined out as the last car in the lead lap, but very, very good steering. He went 113 laps on a set of tyres and a tank of fuel, so good job from him to keep going that long. It's going to be interesting to see. Watch for Norton now. We'll see what he does. These front 6 did not pit under this caution.
Yes, indeed. So Northway really hanging back from the safety car. And Trevor Mack right on the back of him. He's going very early, is Northway. Nowak responded beautifully to that. He's managed to get by Trevor Mack before the start-finish line. Excellent run from him, but we'll see what Northway can do on these worn tyres, what all of the top 6 can do on these worn tyres. But it seems like Northway is in the best position at the moment. Nowak just not able
Hawkins!
Hawkins.
Oh,
Hawkins,
no.
who was the leading car with fresh tyres, he just hit the wall, the exit of turn 4. We're staying green as well, but it looks like he might be done. That was a fairly heavy hit.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. He just went onto the grass on the front stretch where no one could hit him, so I think that's why the caution was avoided. So let's have a look at this. How did that happen to Craig Hawkins? Well, he was going side by side here with Shane Bowen.
Between Blaine Burns.
Oh, yeah. Well, we just saw what happened to Hawkins there. There was a little bit of contact between him and Bowen, but now the caution is out.
Yeah, we'll stay with this replay now because Burns is the car that has ended up facing the wrong direction. There's contact between, I want to say, Pateklis and Burns.
Yes. Into turn 1, actually. Pateklis up the inside just didn't quite get alongside enough, and Burns has come down on him.
I think Burns was almost trying to cover him off to make sure that Pateklis didn't get a run, and it was too late.
Yeah, Pateklis, you could see at the point of contact, he was much faster than Burns was, and I don't know if Pateklis was really expecting that.
I don't think either of them were expecting that to go that way, but we're back under caution again, and under this caution we will hit the halfway point in this race. Been out on track, we've been racing for just on 50 minutes, so at the current rate we'll be finished in 100 minutes. It's not too bad for a 250 lap race, short track race. I think the pace has been pretty good from these guys today.
Yeah, definitely has. You know, despite these cautions, we've had some good green flag runs and some pretty quick lap times being set. Burns into the pits.
Yeah, I think he'll be getting a little bit of damage fixed to the side of that car. Also in the pits is John King coming in to get probably some fresh tyres and a little bit of damage fixed. Top up on fuel. Nothing to lose when you're at the back of the pack on the lead lap. As long as you stay on the lead lap, you can do whatever you need to. King actually missed his pit box slightly, but I'm surprised Norton stayed out here. Saying that he probably didn't get a long enough run to actually get a gauge on how bad or how good his car is.
Yeah, that's interesting there from Norton. Well, he's one of the big question marks, I think, through the rest of this race that we'll see. So Burns taking all 4 tyres, and it looks to be me some fuel as well. So both himself and King have made it out before the safety car. King, though, no, he's not slowing down, so looks like they both have made it out. Have a look at the dent in the back of King's car. My goodness.
Must have been forced to check up pretty big, wasn't it? It's a pretty big damage there for him. So
that's crazy. I don't think I've seen that level of dent on anyone's car ever. It looks like something's just taken a big chomp out of the rear bumper of that Chevrolet Monte Carlo.
Maybe someone that was wanting a tyre salad earlier. But,
yeah, probably. not enough protein.
Not enough protein in your tyre salad.
Yeah, so they got to get some rump steak.
Oh.
I'm really craving a vodka lemonade right now as well. I don't know why.
I can tell you're craving something. As long as it's not another Red Bull, because we've had more than our share over the last week.
Dude, I don't even drink vodka, so why do I want a vodka lemonade?
Idea. Anyway, we're going green. And I'll tell you what, the outside row has completely missed it. Northway just checked up a little bit just before he went going. I think the guys anticipated that was the point he was going to go. And he's done a great job at this restart. Mack and Nowak side by side.
Yes, indeed. That's very interesting there, Mack and Nowak. But Nowak has managed to win out. And have a look at Pateklis now. He's going to try and go around the outside of Mack. Making that exit work once again is the 666. Oh, have a look at Norton. He's right on the back of these guys too.
Yeah, and he's got damage as well, so he's doing fairly well to keep up with these guys at the moment.
Have a look from the onboard at how damaged that car is of Norton's.
Oh
we are now officially at the halfway point. We've completed 125 to go. This race is just about to start going off if it hadn't already.
Yes, indeed, and you can see Norton struggling, I think, to close the gap up as Pateklis battles with Mack and Nowak. You see Northway there, all the way out in front. Seems pretty untroubled right now. It seems like these guys are starting to lose out to Nowak as well. So it's Trevor Mack versus Aldous Pateklis at the moment.
Here comes Bowen. Ooh,
Yeah,
not
that
quite able to
battle
get
is
through.
still going on. You can see.
Oh, no, not in the wall.
Oh no!
Oh,
And
let's go
Pence,
around.
Pence and Burns got caught up in that. Is there going to be a caution from that?
No, staying
No.
green. And that's just from Norton hitting the wall. Burns checked up to avoid contact, and then Pence just got hit from behind. He was an innocent bystander. There's nothing any of those guys did wrong there. Just a car at the lead of the train just clipped the wall. Has made this pack behind Norton absolutely heated, messy, and intense right now.
Yes, indeed. John King sort of going for a move here on Daniel Stevens. He's thinking about it, really thinking about it. But those team, whoa, goodness me, that's Burns, I believe, going for the move on Norton. That's going to be move done.
Good move
Very
there.
nice. Yeah, efficient, clean. Couldn't see anything wrong with that one at all, but this is still a very tight pack because John King now is faced with 2 cars up ahead of him.
Stevens
That's
up the inside.
Stevens. Norton around the outside.
Great fight.
King's coming into it as well.
What an awesome pack it is. Oh, don't go 3
no,
wide. I
look
thought
out.
King was going to make that 3 wide there for a second. Here comes Norton. Big slide.
Yeah, so King is in the best position out of all of these guys. He might be going for the over-under here on Norton, but can Norton hook up that exit as we've seen so many drivers do tonight? He does. King forced to stay behind for at least another couple of corners because he's just going for that inside line, I think, not just to try and get a leg up on Norton, but also to just see where he's going.
Don't
Just
forget
have a
King.
car in front of you there.
Don't forget King also on new tyres. He pitted under that last caution. The other guy's a little bit older tyre set. Pateklis has gone 95 laps on these set of tyres as well. He pitted under the second caution.
Wow. Very, very.
And he only
long
changed
time.
2.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. How he's managing to maintain that sort of pace, I have no idea.
Bearing in mind that the tyre wear isn't actually that excessive around here, from what I've found, it's actually not too bad, especially at night. So the ability to run long stints on old tyres is actually not that hard. If your car's a little bit loose or something like that later in the stint, then yeah, probably isn't ideal to do, but it's not actually impossible to do.
Indeed. 100% right there. So obviously, he's one of the drivers making the best use of the conditions. King still pressuring Norton here. But it seems like Norton's just, even with the damage, he's able to make that cooler outside line work nicely for him. King is actually as far up as he's ever been this lap by, and Norton, just getting into the wall. Yep, there we go. So that's going to let King go, and it seems like he might let Jake Fox go too.
Also just seen Burns get past Bowen as well, so change of position there too.
Yeah, Norton's actually holding on to King not too bad as well when he's actually...
Oh, he's in the wall again.
Box in the...
That's a shame there for Norton. He's just, I think, just suffering a bit of understeer on exit now, so he's going to have to fall back in the line.
Damage in the old tyres is starting to really hurt there for Norton. He's got to hold on, hope that he doesn't go a lap down. If he goes a lap down, that's race over for him. And Northway, at the moment, doing a fantastic job. He's now got a 2.5 second lead once again. Is King now putting pressure back on Daniel Stevens. Stevens has come from 3 laps down to be up in the 7th position. Yeah,
and you know what, Stevens, that's really good use of the lucky dog rule there. Very fortunate for Stevens, and as King goes for the move, actually he manages to get in front. Will Stevens be able to hold on around the outside? He's going to give it a red hot go. But I think King might just have this. Have a look at Stevens. He's just able to maintain that momentum too. So King not completely out of the woods yet. Stevens has been driving really well this last stint.
He's done a really good job since he got a few lucky dogs. He's just happy sitting at the back, knowing that he get his laps back every now and again. And now that he's back on the lead lap, he's probably feeling a little bit more comfortable. I know he only just made it home from being at the real racing at Pukukari Raceway today. So he's only just made it home in time. I'll tell you what though, it's on for a podium position because have a look at Pateklis closing in on Trevor Mack.
Yeah, that's very impressive there from Pateklis. And Mack, he's been one of those drivers that really lit it up in the opening laps in the first half of the race. But now that we've entered the second half, the weaknesses, I think, are starting to show in Trevor Mack's setup. Pateklis, with that 2-tyre pit stop, that I think was a very good decision, very sound decision to make, because as you can see, he managed to vault himself up the order, and once everyone else took their stops and the order was reshuffled, he's in contention for a podium position at the halfway point.
You know what's going to get really interesting now, sorry Cam, is that these guys are now have to start thinking about fuel as massive sideways moment there. Sorry Cam.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's actually really driven well in this race, and he's got very close to Mac there.
Wow.
But yeah, he's done very well to manage those 2 tyres that are very old and then the 2 that are a bit... He's looking up the inside as well at the moment on Mac.
Currently on lap 109 on this tyre set. On these 2 tyres, through he goes.
Look at that.
What a move. Easy as you like.
Fantastic. Brilliant stuff there. I think that may have been intentional from Mac, just because like he realizes that Pateklis it has the pace advantage over him at the moment. So maybe what he can do is just slot in behind and follow him through if he makes any other moves.
Norton is not far off being lapped. Here, look on board from Northway. You can see just up ahead that blue car of Christopher Norton. There's about 2 seconds between these cars now. That lap there, Norton a 19.9, Northway a 19.3. 6/10 of a second difference. This is not going to take too long. That's when it's really going to have to start, or will start, hurting Norton once he goes a lap down.
Yeah, that's right, and I think Norton will be hoping, praying for a caution just so he can stay.
We hoping those guys ahead have a little fight. We've got 100 to go though.
Yeah, certainly. We've got plenty of opportunities for cautions to come out, but this green flag run, I think, has been really good. Touch wood. I don't want to bring out the old commentator's curse once again.
I've never seen the commentator's curse work that quickly before, Reece. I was impressed.
Well, I guess I've had a lot of opportunities to practice, haven't I? I've just gotten it down to a fine art, just like that.
Look, we're good at some things, we're not that great at those, are we?
Certainly not. We're currently looking at Chris Pence in car number 10. He's currently chasing down, I believe that's Vassal that he's chasing.
Daniel Stevens it is?
No, Stevens, my apologies.
Yeah. Stevens just starting to drop off a little bit at the end of this run, and Pence on a little bit newer tyres. Big slide there for Stevens.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see. So Pence really taking advantage of this now. On the subject of Stevens, though, I just want to say I love the lucky dog rule in races like this, just because, like, it's always a shame to see drivers that you could have in contention just being taken out of the running simply because they had gone a lap down. What the lucky dog rule does is it gives them a bit more of a fighting chance. It allows them to have another go, which really works wonders in longer races like this.
Well,
so
the big thing is that the shortness of the pit lane at these tracks. When you have a yellow and you go into the pits, sometimes guys go down a lap without even trying. So in tracks like Martinsville, we see in the Gen 6 NASCARs, the guys that got really, really late pit stalls automatically go a lap down under caution if they come in for just a standard 4-tyre pit stop. So have the lucky dog rule in effect to bring these guys back into contention is great as here comes Pence.
Yeah, excellent exit there from Pence. He's managed to make that work really well, getting past Daniel Stevens, but have a look who's behind, and that's our race leader, Robert Northway. He's going to go through on Stevens, possibly through on Pence in the next few turns. Northway just making that car work beautifully in this middle stage. He's got it worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. And what that also means is Norton's gone pretty much a lap down, and he's almost nearly going to be a lap and a half down. So that's pretty much race over for Norton at this stage.
Well, the thing is too, not only has he got a lap down, he's got 2 other cars that he needs to get back past before he becomes the lucky dog again. So it's going to be a real tough ask for him now. Nowak in second is 5 seconds behind our race leader. There's only 8 cars left on the lead lap, and Jake Fox is not too far off being another one lapped. John King not far up the road as well. So we could end up with 6 cars on the lead lap in only the next couple of laps as the current rate. Saying that, we're not far off potentially seeing some green flag stops here. This could really spice up the field. We know how tough it is to get into the pit entry. It's Jake Fox, massive slide through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's pretty insane from Jake Fox. His tyres really starting to show their age now, but Northway going up the inside to complete this move. He's done everything right as Northway as we look back at Jake Fox. Northway just looking after his tyres, making sure that they have the requisite grip in them. As Jake Fox, you can see, is coming under a lot of pressure from Chris Pence as they come to the end of their lap 161.
Pence has got some really good pace in the latter half of this stint, hasn't he? He's looked really strong. I'd say the last 10-15 laps, just looking a lot stronger than the cars around him. He was about 4/10 of a lap quicker than Fox over the last 2 laps combined. So he's starting to gain a lot of pace as Pence. I don't think it'll be too long before we see him moving up in 8th position.
Yeah, certainly. He's done really well, has Chris Pence. Started in 15th position, so this is in the middle of a really good run for him. He's just taken advantage of those cautions, stayed out of trouble. Of course, his car has a couple of battle scars on it, but it's rare that you see a completely clean car. Yeah, in short track racing. It's pretty much a given that you'll make contact with someone at some point, but have a look at that. Round the outside on the exit. Fox going a bit defensive here. But Chris Pence, you can see, has just got a beautiful, beautiful run out of the last turn. That was fantastic stuff from Chris Pence.
Maintains himself in that lucky dog spot as well. Sorry, there, Cam.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think Fox actually really could have done much else. Those tyres are really old, so couldn't really have taken the fight to Pence that way.
Fox is really struggling. He's actually the slowest car out on track at the moment. So Fox is the one that's in a bit of trouble here. Probably not enjoying the tyres at the moment. Yeah, I did pit 72 laps ago. So he's starting to feel the length of it, or the stint of these tyres struggle. In saying that, Northway and Nowak both the same stint length for tyres. So he's really struggling and not coping too well with his car behaviour at the moment. With John King now under pressure, you can feel Northway breathing down the back of his neck.
Yeah, King facing the possibility of going a lap down here. Of course, carrying some big damage to the rear. Don't know how much that would affect the suspension. You can certainly see that rear wing plate has seen better days, so not sure how that would affect his car balance.
Just want to point out.
Sorry,
well,
go Cam.
Yeah, I was just want to point out that Norton's about to be lapped by Protaculus as well, so that's really going to hurt him, and there's really not much else he can do at this point. He can stay out, yeah, just about contact, but the only real thing Norton's going to be able to do to try and bring this race back is stay out in safety car if there is one.
Yeah, the only way I can really see a safety car coming out at this stage is if someone makes a mistake on their own and gets into the wall, because we've seen some good battles, but we haven't really seen anyone getting into each other like we did in the early stages of the race. There's Pateklis going for it on Norton. This may be an easy move done, as Norton just has to check up to avoid getting into the wall, but have a look, he's still trying to fight this.
He's not going to give up. It's going to be a hard ask for him to come back from here, but he's not going to give up, as we pretty much hit the magic lap number for where you can make it on a tank of fuel, but everyone's pitted, so it doesn't really matter too much. Pateklis now on lap 135 in this stint as well, so those tyres that he's got on the inside are now 175 odd laps old, and his outside one's 135. I've also just been told we can announce a little bit of information for next season too, boys. The international region will change days next year. We're coming to you on Saturday nights next year. It's going to be really cool to bring Saturday night racing back here on SimSpeed TV, and to have the majors on a Saturday night means we'll have no conflict with any other series, and we can run all of the original weekends as originally planned rather than changing dates for other broadcasting commitments and other events. So pretty cool to say that. And we're also moving to dynamic weather next year as well, which is going to really spice up the field as well. So two big announcements for firstly for the international region, moving from Sundays to Saturday nights, and dynamic weather for the entire series next year. That's going to make things really interesting.
Yes, indeed. That certainly is going to shake things up, because obviously static weather conditions, they can spice things up occasionally when you see drivers not able to adapt to certain conditions. But dynamic weather, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Also looking forward to the possible return of Saturday night drinks, Jay. Remember?
Hey, we loved Saturday night drinks we had at the end of last season when we brought the pro qualifiers, and good fun. We'll be able to do it next year for good, for our 14
Certainly.
rounds again.
An entire year of Saturday night drinks coming up for you on SimSpeed TV.
Actually, it's saying that we'll have Saturday night drinks next weekend as well, because we will have the quarterfinals in the iRacing World Cup next weekend here on SimSpeed TV. Next Saturday night, and also on Sunday, Group A and Group D quarterfinals will be here live on SimSpeed TV. Big week of broadcasting next week.
Yeah, certainly is. We got that to bring to you all, which I'm certainly looking forward to seeing.
Dane Burns is looking strong at the moment. Closed in on Trevor Mack and ready to get a move done. Not too far off potentially getting a move sorted. 70 laps to go now. These guys are really got to think about how they're going to do this, whether they do risk it and pit under green, or try and hold out as late as possible, hoping for a yellow. What would you do, Cam, in this spot? If you're, say, Pateklis, knowing that you can't make it home on fuel, probably got about 30 laps before you have to come in the pit, 40 laps maybe. When do you do it? Oh, maybe that's answered the question.
Do it
right
now,
because Vassal is in the wall again. Unfortunately, he has not had a great night, Daniel Vassal, and obviously had some tech issues. Well, that's just ruined any strategy sort of calls there. The only downfall is we've only got 6 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, certainly. So that's not going to work out very well for a few drivers in this field. Danny Vassal. Oh, goodness me.
That's another tech failure.
Oh my goodness! That is not a natural way to see a car move.
He's had some sort of tech failure again there for sure. Vassal is bringing it back into the pits. Interesting, the Pateklis has stayed out, has he? Looks like he has.
Yeah, that's
very
strange.
Odd. Why would Pateklis still be out on track right now? Northway is in, Nowak is in, Mack is in, Bowen is in. The likes of King and Pence obviously will have to wait another lap to come in because they were 1 lap down. They do have to wait until the 2nd lap to come in. Looks like Pence is going to stay out and try and get his lap back. See if Norton also stays out. He does. So this is going to be really interesting when we get this restart. We're going to have a whole lot more drivers on the lead lap. But strange, actually, that Norton, there was no point him staying out because Pateklis is still out on track. So I'm a bit surprised that Norton maybe didn't notice that Pateklis was still out there. So Stevenson, and Norton will not get a lap back here.
Wow. That's a real shame for them. That is intriguing with Pateklis, though. I honestly cannot think of a good reason for him to stay out right now.
I'm guessing he's thinking there'll be another caution in maybe 10 laps or so. Go green for 10 laps. We often see that these races get real spicy in the last quarter or last 1/5 of the race. So no surprise to see that Stevens and Norton have both come into the pits now that they realise they can't get their lap back. But Pence is staying out there to get his lap back. Will leave us with 6 drivers on the lead lap.
So we're coming up on... Actually, we do have 65 laps remaining here. So...
Amazing how quick this race has gone.
Amazing, definitely.
And guess what? Norton's got a fresh car, so he's jumped into the spare finally.
Ah, nice.
That looks very, very different now, doesn't it? Look at how clean it looks.
Certainly. Oh, God, it looks amazing. Wow.
I didn't realise how damaged his car was until I saw his clean one.
Goodness me. I take a look at that. It's like, whoo, that's really awesome.
It's bright, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at how shiny it is. That's so cool. I feel like a magpie.
Of course, we've sort of been told about Patekla staying out as just to keep as many drivers a lap down as possible to limit the amount of drivers that can potentially win the race. As Patekla leads the field away. It's the first time he's done so. Green flag flies. We're back underway. We've got 63 laps of racing to go.
Yes, indeed. And right away, you can see Northway on the inside of Josh Nowak. So that's that sorted between them. I don't think Nowak will be able to respond to Northway at this stage. On the other hand, Aldous Pateklis is currently in a heap of trouble, because have a look at Northway's run. Great exit. Already up alongside. Oh, that's not going to work out well. There we go. He's around. That's going to be another caution. Surely.
No, still green. Staying green.
What? Why was there not a caution? That should have been a caution.
Stayed green, I'm guessing because Northway was still going in a forward momentum when he actually had contact in with Bowen, and also side by side with Jake Fox. I can't believe it stayed green either. Pateklis now leads by 3.5 seconds. Northway and Burns have got to do a really tough job here. Norton's not far off getting his lap back as well. If Norton and Stevens work together here, they could both get back on the lead lap as they start to close in on Pateklis. But Pateklis doing a good job holding out in front, but he can't have much more left in the tank. Literally can't have much more left in the tank.
Certainly, you know, he would have been hoping that that was a caution. Like, no one more than him needs a caution now.
He needs it now before Norton and Stevens close up on him, because have a look at how quickly they are closing. Northway is through as well, but Norton is the one, has to be on a charge right now. He needs to close that gap as quick as he can to Pateklis to get back on the lead lap.
Yes, indeed. That is absolutely crucial for Norton, the driver of the 22. But have a look at how close Northway is getting here. Northway well and truly on a big charge right now. Fair chance here that Norton is going to fall behind in the next turn. There we go. Northway already up the inside, and I don't know if there's much that Norton can do here.
Got to hold on to that position that he's in right now and not have anyone else go a lap down. And then he will get a lucky dog if we do have another caution.
Oh, look at this.
Nowak as well.
Yes, indeed.
Norton's doing a great job holding on around the outside.
He is. Doing fantastically, but it seems with that particular turn, he had to fall in behind. This onboard is very nice from Christopher Norton. We can have a look at the extremely damaged rear end there of Robert Northway.
Pretty big dent in the back there, isn't it? It was a big shunt, but I didn't think it was that big. But it's the difference. Almost looks as bad as what Norton's car did before he came in and got the spare. Josh Nowak, they're applying a lot of pressure to Trevor Mack at the moment. Mack starting to feel this pressure from behind, from the 73 of Josh Nowak.
Yeah, indeed he is. Nowak with a very nice exit. Easy over-under job. So let's have a look at how Mack may or may not respond here.
I don't think he's going to be able to respond, actually. It looks like he's got nothing to come back with. But have a look at Northway closing in very, very quickly on Pateklis, down to 1 second. It was 3.5 seconds when you got going in the right direction again. Did Northway have a look at the slide, though, through the middle of turns 1 and 2. 50-odd laps to go.
Yeah, goodness me. Bumps in those first couple of turns, not treating Northway well that time, but he's been able to ride them well enough through most of this race. We'll see if he manages to hold on for the rest of this one. Pateklis out there in the lead. He'll be watching his mirrors. He'll be seeing Chester creeping up on him.
50 laps remaining in this race. We are 4/5 of the way through. We stay green. We've only got about 15 minutes of green flag running to go.
Yeah, goodness me. Quite the pacey one, this.
Pateklis can't stay out too much longer.
Nah, he will be ruining the fact that there wasn't a caution for that incident. Northway, easy as you like, up the inside. We'll see if he holds on to take the position here. Pateklis will try and defend around the outside, but it looks like he's not going to be able to get it done.
I understand the strategy behind Pateklis staying out to keep those other guys a lap down, but he was not the car to do that strategy, considering he was already out the longest out of everybody. Now on lap number 165, about to start 166 of this stint, and that's only taking 2 tyres at the last stop.
It's a valiant effort from Pateklis, but I think... oh my goodness!
Wow, right on cue. Daniel Stevens.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say, if a caution doesn't come out, he's done. Well, there we go.
Guess who's the lucky dog too? Christopher Norton.
Oh yeah. So that right there is exactly what Norton would have wanted. So what happened here to Stevens?
The contact from Nowak. Oh,
yeah.
there is. Nowak just way too deep. Way too deep under brakes, and Stevens absolutely innocent in that. Oh, and then as he's going to come around and correct himself, Pence is giving him a little tap. So Pateklis, Burns and Nowak all in the pits. Nowak probably in to get a little bit of damage fixed, I'm going to guess, from that issue. Or from that incident, I should say.
Yeah, that was a fair whack on the back of Stevens that that you saw there. So certainly not optimal. We'll see what happens through the rest of the field once this pit stop cycle is complete, because I don't think we'll see many other drivers pitting after this one.
I think this will be about it. If you're maybe the last car on the lead lap, you might come in and get some fresh tyres and try and get some track position back, or try and do something a little bit different to everyone else around you. Christopher Norton's just got the lucky dog. He's now coming right onto the tail of Pateklis, currently in 4th, but he would probably drop back to about 7th or 8th by the look. 7th it will be. So he gets told to go to the back of the line, but great to see Norton now back in contention, where he should have been from the very start of the race. He's just had one of those unfortunate races. It's taken him, what, nearly 200 laps to get back to where he should be. He's back there now, only 43 to go. This is going to be intense, going to be great to watch.
Well, I did say playing the long game is what you got to do in these races, and Christopher Norton, I think, yeah, not entirely intentionally, I think, but he has played it very, very long. Also, just noted that Jake Fox has taken his spare car, so he'll obviously have a nice, fresh machine for these last few laps.
It's possibly like John King has also taken a spare car, because his car looks nice and fresh as well. So if you guys have thought about this very, very strategically and have left their spare cars right until the last moment, not a bad ploy, considering how tough these short track races are, to leave it as long as you can. But it's Robert Northway's to lose at the moment. The pace that he has got is incredible in comparison to everyone else.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what more can you really say about Northway's run? Dwayne Burns obviously had the advantage at the start of the night, but Northway has come through. He's managed to put on a very nice show for the spectators at Myrtle Beach today. Lights are out on the safety car. We will be going green this time by. We'll see if this is a full green flag run to the end. Robert Northway, Trevor Mack and Aldous Pateklis are your top 3. Josh, looks like, whoa, that is another good jump. Oh, That's looking pretty interesting there in the backpack. Cam, it looks like Northway streaking away here as other guys are starting to get into each other.
Yeah, Northway's pulled a massive gap and actually went really, really early. He's pretty much left the entire field for dead, so he's got the advantage at the moment with that pretty much.
Yes, indeed. Apologies, Cam. We seem to have lost you once again.
Interesting that Danny Vassal's getting involved in the battle pack that is fighting for podium positions there. As Nowak almost gives him a little tap to say, hey, get out of the way. We want to fight for a podium here.
Yes, indeed. So Vassal staying well to the outside. A couple of tech issues, it seems, is happening to him, but Josh Nowak through, and now he's really pressuring Trevor Mack. This is fantastic to see. This is when the gloves are going to come off. Josh Nowak to the inside on the run into turn 1, and he is through before they even get to the apex.
Good move there from Nowak to get through into 3rd position. Burns is one to watch here. He's been a little bit of a sleeper in the second half of this race, but his pace towards the end, even with that damage, is still looking really strong. It'll be interesting to see if he can close up onto the rear. If he can, it's going to be a really tough fight right to the end. He's going to come down to the wire for the top 5 positions.
Certainly will. We've got any number of contenders for the podium here. Awesome to see right at the end. Burns trying to go up the inside of Trevor Mack.
Oh, nice contact.
Yeah, very close there. Mack went way down, but Burns just able to keep himself out of it. Mack pushing it once again. Oh, yeah, it is, Cam. Tiny bit of contact. Looks to me like Burns might have this.
What a fight.
Oh,
Burns is through into 4th position. See if he can close up to Nowak, but Nowak's last lap, fastest car on track, a 19.0. We haven't seen those laps since about lap 5, lap 6.
Woof. Yeah, not wrong. That's fantastic pace.
Already up to Pateklis. Straight away, he's right on the rear of Pateklis. Pateklis also, very, very short stop again. Pateklis has only taken 2 tyres and enough fuel to get it home. Or he might not have even taken tyres, Pateklis. He might have just splashed in fuel. Only a 7-second stop.
I'll say that's just fuel.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Pateklis doing the mother of all long runs on those tyres, working them down to the canvas, I think.
2 tyres on for 220 laps, counting the 221 laps, counting the 2 pace laps at the start of the race. Those Hoosiers won't have much left at the end. Oh, Nowak just clipped the wall as well.
That's very close.
Nowak is faster than Northway as well, so we'll see if Nowak can close that gap. It is currently 2 seconds. Saying that lap by, Northway's responded. Got a 10th back.
So it's definitely on for the top 2 between Northway and Nowak. Northway in this position will seal the Sportsman Division Championship. We'll see what Josh Nowak can do. Try and take this race victory away from him.
That Sportsman's Championship has been a really, really interesting fight throughout the entire series, and the guys all in contention all really deserve it because they've all raced really, really well throughout the whole championship, and they've all improved out of sight throughout the championship as well.
Yeah, they definitely have, and you know, I think that's the beautiful thing about the Majors series is it takes these drivers that we don't usually see in our other broadcasted races. It gives them a chance to shine, and they really get a chance to show their class in a series like this. And Northway, again, we don't see him a huge deal. He usually drives in ovals and in rallycross as well. I've seen him in, but in the Majors, he's gotten a good amount of publicity for himself. And he's managed to get some good matchups against drivers like Josh Nowak and Dwayne Burns and the like in this sort of series. So I really look forward to possibly seeing more of him.
Well, hopefully he'll be back again next year because it's going to be one to watch. Actually, in regards to his points, he's not far off the actual overall championship as well. Of course, those in the Sportsman Championship cannot compete for the overall championship, but if he did, I think he's in 3rd or 4th. That's how good a job these guys that are in the Sportsman Championship are doing. Just working it out right now, I'm pretty sure he'd be 2nd or 3rd in the overall championship. He'd be 5th, actually. But with the result at the moment, he'd be right up there, probably would fight for 3rd, maybe even 2nd overall.
That's pretty immense.
Yeah, I do have to admit, Northway's really improved over the whole entire season of the Major Series. He's done really, really well, and he's actually really done extremely well tonight to put on a...
I can't believe the pace that he's had throughout this race. It's great to watch. I've just seen Pence is just... Sorry, Norton actually has just lost a spot, has he? Just gone past Trevor Mack, sorry. So Mack has just lost a spot to Norton. So Norton's back into the top 5. You wouldn't have thought, we would not have thought that an hour and a half ago, that Norton would be 8 seconds off the lead on the lead lap in 5th position.
Yeah,
there was no way. He was well and truly out of it. He should not have even been anywhere near contention. He'll take a top 5 for sure from where he was a little while ago.
Great run from Norton in these last, in the period since this last caution. You know, we questioned whether it was the right decision to leave that spare car for so long, but turns out Norton...
Shows that we know nothing.
Yeah, well, he knew what he was doing all along, didn't he?
Knew better than us anyway. I think the battle between Northway and Nowak might be over, because have a look at the last lap time from both of those drivers. 19.2 for Northway, 19.4 for Nowak, as he just comes past Danny Vassell. So that could be all over. Nowak might have absolutely destroyed the tyres and has nothing more to give, as he just does another 19.4 at Northway, another 19.2.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing to take away from Northway's race, is just the fact that he's been able to make the pace last on those tyres. He hasn't gone all out like some drivers have and completely burned up the tyres, used up their optimum sort of range of usage. He's just kept at it, kept that pace nicely done, but not overdoing it, which I think has really sealed it for him so far. Just coming up now on Pence.
Pateklis is the one that's in trouble here. He's got to be really careful, because Burns is closing about 2/10 a lap. Gap is a second. We know that Pateklis has got nothing left in regards to tyre life. We know he's running on the smell of an oily rag in regards to fuel. It's going to be hard for him to hold on here. Burns looks strong. Pateklis looks like he might be in a bit of trouble, but still 17 laps to go. Still a long way left, and a caution will change all of that.
Yeah,
absolutely will. Sorry, Cam.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's really going to struggle to get that thing home without losing another position here. And if he actually does manage to get a podium, it'll be an absolute impressive.
There's no way Pateklis should be anywhere near a podium position. When you said the other drivers have pit 8, 7, 8, 9 times, he didn't only pit twice and only changed 2 tyres throughout the entire race. No way will he even be able to compete with everyone else. But he's done a great job. That last lap by, almost identical times between Pateklis and Burns, so he's starting to come back again. Probably just eased off the tyres to get him cooled down a little bit. Now going back at it again. It's going to be an intense fight to the end though.
Northway just coming around to start lap 238. 13 laps to go here. Josh Nowak, it seems, just doesn't have anything left.
I think Nowak's destroyed the tyres trying to catch up that gap, and now there's nothing left in them. He's starting to drop off. But Pateklis versus Burns is definitely not over. This is going to come right down to the wire.
Equal lap time.
Yeah. And speaking of coming down to the wire, I think that's what his tyres are doing too.
Yeah, certainly.
Geez, I thought I might have got a better reaction than that. I thought that was quite funny.
No, I thought it was pretty good. It took me a couple of seconds to think it through, which is
must have been why it didn't get the response I was hoping. It must have been too clever for its own good.
Yeah, I just needed to think. Oh, well, what do they make tire carcasses out of? Is it cables or wires? Okay,
it's all the same.
It's all the same. It's all semantics.
Oh. It has been a long season, but it's one that we've thoroughly enjoyed 10 to go.
Yes, indeed. This entire season, you know, we've had a lot of races that have had quite some major lulls in the middle of them and really picked up right at the end. We've had some super exciting battles. We've had some very long ones as well. Of course, a Bathurst 1000 and a Le Mans 24-hour to contend with. But all up, you know, this championship, these drivers competing for the Mario Andretti Trophy, it's certainly been a treat to view this season, to watch these stories unfold throughout the year, and to be able to scream at these pixels.
We love shouting at pretend race cars. Norton in the pits.
What?
Norton's hit the wall. He's got heavy damage on the left-hand side of his car. If we can pick up what's happened to Norton. But he's in the pits, and see if he's gotten lapped down. CPR replay on screen. I think he's done something all on his own. Maybe tech issues caused him to actually hit the wall. It's appearing off the screen every now and again. Yeah, he's hit the wall very, very hard at the exit of turn 4 with his tech issues. So probably was focused on that, and it's hit the wall. Also, Pence in the pits as well, and possibly hasn't quite got enough fuel.
Wow.
Sadly, it looks like Norton might actually be out of the race, which is a devastating end as well. So definitely deserved better than that did Christopher Norton, especially when you looked at the pace that he had during that heat race before we got into the main event. So Pateklis versus Burns, still going at it, 5 laps to go. So if we get a caution now, we are pretty much race over.
Yeah, and Dwayne Burns, 19.5 on his last lap, 19.48 from Aldis Pateklis, so he's actually doing pretty well to respond to Burns as of the moment.
Yeah, I think the tyres on Burns' car have just started to plateau a bit and just drop off a little bit. And one thing I actually want to point out is if Burns actually finishes where he does, he actually jumps John King in the points. So Dwayne Burns will end up finishing second.
Interesting.
That would certainly be beneficial.
To hold on then. So 2 to go, 1.5 to go even. Northway has just been dominant tonight.
He absolutely has, and he's just coming up behind the car of Daniel Stevens.
The white flag is out too, so great drive from Northway.
What more can you say? I mean, we basically wrapped it up at the halfway point. He's just had a fantastic run in this one. So Robert Northway crossing the line to take the Sportsman Division Championship, and a fantastic race win. Well done.
What's happened to Burns? Oh, Burns did make it home, but just the timing just decided to go haywire there for a second. Pateklis in 3rd position, Burns in 4th, and Trevor Mack does finish in 5th. The only cars on the lead lap in the end, only 5 cars on the lead lap. But Robert Northway, if you look up dominant in the dictionary, there's a picture of that race right there.
Yeah, just a fantastic drive. I don't think anybody actually expected Northway to win either, so really, really...
Yeah, for sure. Dwayne Burns, with that fall from 1st to 4th in the end, bit of a shame to see that, but how about Aldis Pateklis? I'm really impressed with how long he managed to make those tyres last and get a podium out of it for his troubles.
Yeah.
So the results are on screen, Cam. Robert Northway taking victory. Josh Nowak in 2nd. Pateklis, great run, to 3rd place. Dwayne Burns in 4th. Trevor Mack in 5th. 6th, John King. 7th, Jake Fox. And the top 10 rounded out by Shane Bowen, Daniel Stevens, and Chris Pence.
And then we go back to the rest of the finishes. Well, the order, full auto in 11th. 12th goes to Christopher Norton, unfortunately not able to quite finish the race due to the technical issue that he had. Danny Vassell in 13th, 11 laps down, 2 laps behind Norton. And then we go back to Craig Hawkins, Daryl Hockey, and Dean Mole rounding out the 16th.
That's a real shame about those last 3, our retirees from that race, but that concludes proceedings at the Myrtle Beach 400, and we just wait for our driver interviews to begin. Wait for them to head on over. That run by Robert Northway, he was just able to make fantastic use of his tires, just very consistent driving, and the way that he was able to, I guess, it not so much like Pateklis did, making them last a long time, but making the pace last a long time. That's what really strikes me about Northway's race.
Yeah, absolutely. He did really, really well to actually consistently have that pace and just be able to push for as long as he did. He did really, really well to be consistent and not make any mistakes and just end up finishing.
Yes, indeed. And I mean, Pateklis, what more can you say about him? I'm actually super surprised that he was able to make those tires last as long as he did, only taking 2 tires at one pit stop. Just fantastic stuff to see, only taking fuel from then on. I mean, if there was ever an argument that you don't really need to pit at every single stop, then Pateklis absolutely did that. It seems that sorry, Cam, go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say how he actually managed to do that on those old tires and with pretty much running on a oily rag. Who knows? But that was just really, really good driving there to make.
Yeah, it certainly was. We got driver interviews here now. We have our top 2 in here. Robert Northway with us at the moment. Robert, welcome to the commentary box. Fantastic victory, and you have sealed the Sportsman Championship title.
Oh, that's great to hear. I thought I didn't think I had to win it to get there, but I'm pretty stoked to get that Sportsman Championship.
Yeah, certainly. Unfortunately, your championship rivals had less than stellar races, but you were able to make that car work really nicely through the middle section of the race, just able to keep that pace up while others fell off.
I'd spent a lot of the week working on my long run pace, so just to make sure that if we did get that big green flag run, which we did in the middle, that I'd probably have the pace to move to the front, or in this case, stay out.
Yes, indeed. Well, you managed to make it work in the end. It almost came to a head when you and Josh Nowak made contact some laps before. What was your view on that one?
To be honest, I have to look at the replay because I can't work it out in my head. I remember I was trying to get under all this, just trying to slow up the mid corner to get underneath of him and get the good run onto the straight. So whether he ran into the back of me, I don't know. Just didn't expect me to slow down. Did a gizzy.
Of course. Well, that's that race done. That's your championship done, Robert. So next year, I suppose, is well and truly on the cards for you.
Definitely, I'm really looking forward to this championship next year. It's a real fun championship. I like the challenge of different cars, different tracks. So looking.
Excellent stuff. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Oh, I suppose I better give a shout out to my fiance, especially seeing we're getting married. It's not next week, but the week. So yeah, can't wait to marry you, baby. In 2 weeks.
Big congratulations, Robert, on your marriage, and congratulations on the Sportsman Division title here in the Majors Series.
Thank you.
That's Robert Northway there, winner of this race. Second place, currently in the commentary box with us, Josh Nowak. You made it second from second, but it was a bit of a hard road.
Yeah. I would have to say that's probably my worst race this season, just in terms of driving standards. I usually like to pride myself on being able to race clean, but I don't know what happened today. I was just not sure. I made way too many mistakes and hit too many people, in my opinion.
Yeah, we did see there was quite a bit of contact made, especially between you and Robert Northway, which we just had a bit of a chat to Robert about. What was your view on that incident? What happened on your end?
Ambitious but rubbish. Probably the 3 words that come to mind. And in that move, I don't know. I guess I saw him run up the track a little bit, and I was hoping I could hold it down. But then he slowed it down a little bit more than expected, and yeah, it was ambitious but rubbish, pretty much.
Well, nonetheless, you do come home with the championship, and we did talk to you about this at Bathurst. But was it a fun way to round off the season after taking the title?
I guess so for an oval. I don't exactly enjoy the ovals, as I've probably said quite a lot, but they're starting to grow on me a little bit, I guess. It's a fun car track combo. Should have probably put a little bit more practice in. Maybe could have kept up with Robert there in the end. But yeah, it's a nice way to end off the season. I'm keen for next year, actually, hoping to possibly defend my title and hopefully see a bunch more people join the Majors series for International and put up a good fight.
Yeah, very good point there, Josh. It would be awesome to see more people take up this challenge. Well, before we let you go, who would you like to thank?
I got to thank the Workiva Kinetic guys. They did a great job all season. John and Jake and Christian and all the international guys and Pacific guys always joining in for the race and having a chat about strategy and stuff. They kept me on track there in a lot of the races. Yeah, gotta give a hand to them those guys. Wouldn't have done it without them. I probably wouldn't have finished the championship without them. And yeah, I gotta give a thank you to Swift Racing. Obviously, they help out a little bit with some of the setups and stuff for me personally. And look forward to next year. And thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast. And thank Mike and John and Wayne for putting on such a great series.
Thank you very much for joining us, Josh. That's Josh Nowak there, your season overall Pro Division champion and finishing second in this race. And for our final driver interview of the night, we are going to bring in Dwayne Burns, our 4th place finisher. Dwayne, it was a strong start for you, but you had issues through the middle section.
Yeah, I pitted fairly early at the same time that Robert did, and everyone else decided to stay out, so that kind of put me back in the pack, and then it's a bit messy back there, and I couldn't help but get caught up in a few incidents.
Yeah, we saw some interesting racing in the middle section of the race, in the middle section of the field, no less. It did seem like it was a bit stressful for you getting involved in a couple of incidents.
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. I had a bit of damage that I wanted to get repaired, but the pits here are a bit unusual. It opens up almost immediately, and if you dive in, you're at risk of going a lap down.
Yeah, that's something that we did note throughout the race. Well, you did manage to recover from some of your woes to finish in 4th place. Are you happy with that at the end, considering everything?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I probably didn't have the pace for Robert or Josh, so, my best result probably would have been a 3rd. I was really trying to chase down Aldous there at the end, but just couldn't quite do it. But yeah, overall, I'm happy with it.
Well, at the end of it all, that's a reasonably strong way to finish your season. So are you already thinking about next year?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's probably going to be good to have a bit of a break for a while. So I'm sure in a month or two's time, I'll be raring to go.
Excellent stuff. Well, before we let you go, Dwayne, any shout outs?
Yeah, just the usual, thanks to you guys for putting on all these broadcasts, and all the guys from Majors for putting on this great series. Thanks to my team, Auto Avatar Racing, and Shane, who's been racing with me the whole way. And yeah, John tells me that he thinks I've finished second for the championship. So that's great. Thanks a lot to everyone racing this year.
Yes, indeed. Now, congratulations to you on securing second in the championship. Dwayne Burns there, your 4th place finisher in the Myrtle Beach 400. And I believe that will be our broadcast done for tonight, Cam and Jay. Just a brilliant finish to what was a really interesting championship.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really, really good to see the racing. A little bit rough at the start, but eventually sorted itself out, and we got one heck of a battle at the end after what has been several months and 14 rounds worth of racing.
It's been an incredible season throughout, and the entire season we've seen races sort of have that mid race lull, and then all of a sudden the last 10-15 laps just turn on an absolutely epic show. I can't believe how quickly that race went by. We're only out on track for 96 minutes. It was incredibly quick and action-packed, and I loved every minute of it. Can't wait for next season already. Make sure you do go over to the website for this series, being pacificmajors.com, which is on screen right now, and keep up to date with what is happening for next year. The next year's schedule will be out in the next few days. Be some really big surprises for a lot of people, and some really, really cool events, Reece, that I know you're personally excited for. We might have to find a replacement commentator for a couple, because you're keen to have a drive when you saw that schedule.
Yeah, certainly was. There's some awesome track car combos to be had next year, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that season plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome, awesome season. But the racing doesn't end here on SimSpeed TV. One of our biggest weeks of broadcasting ever next week. Yeah,
certainly. Tomorrow night, we've got the iRacing official V8 Supercar Series at Brands Hatch. You can find that on the iRacing Esports Network. On Tuesday, we've got the first non-pro championship dirt oval event to be broadcast on the iRacing Esports Network. That's the 410 Grand Slam at Lania Speedway. So be sure to tune in Tuesday night for that one. Wednesday, we've got the Geodesic Racing Sprint Series Australasia final at Bathurst. We got a championship to decide. Really excited about that. We got 3 contenders: Ross Rizzo, Luis Paulo Gallon, and John Peasnick. They've been fighting all season for that one. Friday, we got the Australian Online Supercar Championship at Sebring. That's going to be an interesting one. Bumpy airport runways and access roads and V8 supercars. Always an awesome combination. Saturday night, we're broadcasting the World Cup of iRacing, the Group A quarterfinal, and Sunday morning, Group D. That's going to be an awesome night and morning. And then, of course, Sunday night on the iRacing Esports Network, we have the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series presented by Virtual Racing School, also at Sebring International Raceway. So we've got quite the week ahead. Very packed. We hope you're there to join us for all of it. Go to simspeed.tv. That's our website. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all of the social medias. And we definitely hope you enjoyed this one. This was the Myrtle Beach 400, part of the international division of the Majors Series. My name is Reece Gardner. Jay Kennedy and Cameron Dance in the commentary box with me tonight. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.